Once a coveted shipping port, this town has seen its share of tragedy. Centuries-old tales of torture, the wealthy elite sneaking around the law, and the unsettled dead rising to make their presence known. But in this quaint seaside town lies a spooky place that has offered refuge for the living and the dead since Prohibition. When you stop in for a drink, will you end up seeing a specter among the six-packs? This week's episode is The Haunted History of Bunghole Liquors.
A bump in the night, your heart fills with dread. Probably a murderer who wants you dead. It could be a ghost, a demon, or worse. Perhaps you're the victim of a witch's curse. It's hopeless, you're doomed. You'd call a priest if you could. You'd rather just listen to who? Sinisterhood.
I said what I said. I said Bunghole Liquors, and I'm not ashamed of it. Got some delicious rum in a can from here. It was like a rum cocktail in a can.
It was great. This was a suggestion from your favorite coworker. Well, your favorite previous coworker, I hope.
Former
coworker. Favorite former coworker. Yes.
Stotts is what we called him. He's the one that I had the toaster in his face. It would print his face on the toast. I gave him that toaster eventually after I quit that job. But yeah, he lives up there now. He took a job up there. So he said, I don't know how you feel about Bunghole Liquors, but
say no more. Say less, bro. We got you.
Less.
That's all we had to hear. I'm trying to incorporate more Gen Z lingo into my everyday talk.
I love that. Well, he was not wrong because it took us to Salem. We had a Salem adventure, which you will hear all about our harrowing psychic reading. We recount that with great detail in this episode.
And we later learned that she is not the most credible in Salem. We didn't know going in, but it made for a great story. Now when we go back, we know where to go.
Yeah.
But it's been a bucket list of both of ours to go to Salem forever. And it was so much fun. The weather was nice. Just the whole city has this really nice kind of spooky, positive energy about it. I loved all of the stores, our haunted tour at night.
Yes.
Can't forget about that.
We definitely recount our haunted tour. And I actually it's funny you say that. It's my favorite coworker said, hey, my sister's coming to town. We're thinking about going to Salem. I said, I've got the tour for you.
Oh, he was great.
Send the link. I said, it was phenomenal. We loved
What is it? Professor
Nicodemus Watley or something like that. He was fantastic. I think about him maybe once a week at the very least.
His pictures pop up on my phone weekly, so I'm always thinking about Professor Nicodemus. Yeah.
Fantastic. The
So
person
fun.
that has master's degrees in like ghost history, that's a person who I want to give me the tour. And that's what we got. So we were able to share that. We were able to go to Bunghole Liquors and talk with a gentleman who I talked with one guy that had incidents in the store and the other guy who had incidents at home. And we chatted with him as well. So we will recount that for you in the episode as well. This was a fun one to get into the history of Boston, and it is quite a privilege for a town to have so much written history that we were able to go back and find the actual, they had locations listed almost like a directory, like a city directory. And those are all on, ancestry.com, newspapers, all these archives that there's like scanned copies that we could see, okay, in 1912, this building was here and the next year it moved, and then go and find first-person interviews that have been conducted with people who have now passed on about what it was like. So this was a really good, like, digging into history one. And then also we snickered every time we said the name.
And also we got amazing crystals and spells and just fueled our witchy souls with all of the greatness of Salem and such good food at Bostonia.
Oof.
Oh, man. And if you check out the latest Patreon video of me ranking all of the Bloody Marys from around the country, that one's on there. And I got some hot opinions on it. It's a fun time.
You had very, very good Bloody Marys in Boston, and you had one that you talk about. It's like a running gag throughout.
It was
running gag,
the
literally.
single worst Bloody Mary I've ever had in 43 years.
The video is great because you initially go, it wasn't very good. And the next one you go, it's the worst one we've had on a trip. And then later on, you're like, this is the worst Bloody Mary I've had in my life. It's like with every new one you drank, you're like, I'm thinking back to that.
Oh,
Fuck that Bloody Mary.
I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was a wild ride. So check
to clarify, it was not Bostonia.
No.
Subscribe to Patreon. You check the video out to see what we're talking about and how you can save yourself from a bad Bloody Mary. And
find the good ones, too.
Find the good ones. Sucking down the good ones. But this was such a fun trip because we got to we went so many days in advance. So we really got to sightsee, spend time in Salem, and get a feel for what the city's like.
Even that, though, we did not do all the stuff we wanted to do. So we got to go back, which I'm very much willing to do.
Oh, it was just an appetizer. This was wasn't even an appetizer. We had yes, we had an amuse-bouche of Salem, and we went the buffet.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But we'll go back.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and Boston. Boston's great, too.
Oh, I love Boston. I will say it's, we've had our spells that we got in Salem. We should do those this week in honor of releasing the Salem episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one that we got is supposed to be done on a Thursday.
So we'll do it.
So we'll have to release it next Thursday. Or not, release the spell. Perform the spell. The episode will come out Wednesday as normal.
Yes, you're going to hear this on Wednesday, but that's a good idea. Then we can harness the power of everyone thinking about us in Salem and our energy in Salem for our spells.
That's good. I love it. Yeah, we had a great time. Laugh Boston was a great club. Everybody we met was nice. It's just, up there is so nice. And the history, because we have history here in Dallas, but not like you guys up there. So it is very cool to go up and just see the buildings and the architecture and how everything hasn't been bulldozed and made to look brand new. They preserve their history and really honor it and, cherish it and are proud of it. So it's very cool.
It was very cool. It's, again, one of the ones that we love to research because we love to go to a place. So I feel like we always have better stories anytime we actually get to visit a place. So we think you will love it. And again, like Christy said, thanks to Laugh Boston. Such a great venue. And everybody that came to the Boston show, we had so much fun meeting you and then meeting you afterwards. And if I recall correctly, this is the one where in the Judge Christie portion that someone has wet specimens, and I'm pretty sure we're Instagram friends, but I don't want to accidentally say the wrong person, but send us those wet spec pics if you haven't yet.
Yeah. Is this the one where I learn all about what a wet specimen is? I think it might be. Yeah.
I think so.
I did not know what that was. And see, we all learned together.
Oh my God. And this is the one with the road pie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the road pie. I'm so excited for you, listener.
That's
listening
a good
to this right now.
It's a very good Judge Christie. Yeah, it is.
Learn of road pie. Oh, Boston, you brought it. You brought it all and more.
You did. Yeah, road pie sounds like some weird sex move. Is it? You got to listen to the Judge Christie to find out.
Hello. What's up?
Hi.
What a crowd, what a town.
What a crowd, what a town. That's your motto, right?
That's what everybody says. I learned today the phrase wicked pissa, so we're having a wicked pissa tonight.
Yeah.
I asked a man selling t-shirts at, what was the place called?
Faneuil Hall.
Faneuil Hall? The t-shirt guy said, let me know if I can help you with anything. And I said, will you tell me what a wicked pisser is? He was like, wicked pisser, yeah. So we're doing it tonight. We're wicked pissing tonight.
We're wicked pissing all over this place.
It's what we do before every episode anyway, so now we just have a name for it.
Also, first time we've ever drank on stage, so we'll see what happens.
Boston. We gotta get a wicked piss.
We had to get an Angry Orchard.
That's right.
You're in fucking Boston. You better drink an Angry Orchard. Don't be a fucking pussy. Get yourself an Angry Orchard.
Sam Adams, get out of here.
We have been doing y'all's accent for 48 hours, and we love it so much.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so if it sneaks in, it's because we've win in Rome.
It's part of us now. It's become part of
It has become part of us because we flew into Salem Saturday, so we've been
here a hot minute.
In the area since Saturday.
Yeah, we've been here a hot minute, and we did all kinds of spooky things in Salem.
Great place. Definitely want to go back, specifically at Halloween. Yeah. It was a lot. It was everything I thought it would be. Except we did not get invited to a coven meeting. That was the only thing that didn't happen. But we did have a very fun haunted tour with Professor
Nicodemus Waitley.
He's
the greatest person I've ever met. I love him.
His fly was down the whole time.
We loved him though, and
nobody knew but us. Well, everybody knew but him. Actually,
that's the thing. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you all. I indulged in a marijuana chew beforehand, and of course, Massachusetts legal. Thank you all for that. I take a tiny notebook with me everywhere I go, and I take notes on everything. And he goes, "Oh, you taking notes?" And I said, "I take notes on everything I do," because I was very high and only getting higher. And later, I was listening so intensely to his story that I started mirroring his actions, and he was like, "Are you mocking me?
Are you mocking me?"
Like, no, I love you.
By the way, he's not English.
We don't know that.
But he sure identified as an Englishman on the tour.
He did.
He kept going, "When we came," and I'm like, "You're fucking American. Don't say we."
Our version of Clue, and I was like, "You're like your family's version." Oh, you mean British? You mean British?
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. It was a good time. It was a
good time. Tommy declared it the best tour he's ever been on.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, earlier in the day, we saw a lot of people walking around taking tours, and there were some people that were like, "Yeah, that house is haunted. There's a ghost in there." And then we see this gentleman walking with a really cool satin vest on, being like,
and a cane also does not need.
Oh, he's like, "The ghosts are terrible. I don't know." And I was like, "I really hope we get the British guy later." And we did. It was fate. It went so well.
We had a bunch of snacks that we bought at their place.
Yeah, we got in trouble.
And then he kept snack shaming me. And he was like, "Are you going to be eating those the whole time?" And I was like, "Maybe. I don't know."
For sure.
He's like, "What have you got in that bag?" I was like, "Reese's? Okay, I'll allow it."
I was like sneaking M&Ms, just like very bloop, bloop. And then we'd just chew and be like, I'm not eating anything. But I was very much eating stuff. Yeah, it's like, you sold me the snack. Don't shame me for eating the snack. If I want to make eye contact with you while I'm shoving a Snickers bar in my mouth, I'm going to do it. And you're welcome for it. So I got to figure out how to navigate this bottle with this. Maybe I'll switch it to the other side. There we go.
That was an easy fix.
There we go. I like a right hand
easier
grab.
than I thought it would be.
If this spills on my laptop.
How do I drink when this is over here? I want to drink
Can't
like
go
this.
with the left hand. I'm going to spill it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not an easy fix because I'm right-handed and I'm very clumsy. So we'll see. Spatial awareness.
All right. Yo, yeah. Get
I need a beer helmet.
Straw.
Beer helmet.
A beer helmet would be fun.
You guys saw those in where were we? Square?
Faneuil Hall.
Faneuil Square. Faneuil
the
Hall.
Square. Yeah. So yeah, we've had a lovely time in your cities, and once again, I was recognized in a public restroom. So
Always
I'm 2
happens.
for 2. The only times I've been recognized, both in not only public but at restaurants.
Yes, and you are waiting to go in, and they're either letting you go in front of them, or you did the dance.
It's like the most awkward place you could run into someone that's like, "Oh, hi," and you're like, I would love to talk, but we all know why I'm here.
I'm gonna blast off.
So if you could leave, because it's very awkward to do this in front of someone.
I don't want anyone to hear me go to the bathroom, but not anyone that knows like the name of my husband and my deep secrets that I have. Although I guess that's the best person to hear you go to the bathroom because they already love you.
Well, where were we? Raleigh, where they had to hold the stall door shut for you because it wouldn't lock.
Yeah, that was an intimate moment that we shared. I was like, I have to go on stage. I'm not trying to cut the line. She's like, I'll hold the door for you. And I was like, oh, no.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, one of the places we visited in Salem was Bunghole Liquors.
Yes.
How could we not cover this? Heather's friend, Stotts, who is here.
Cheer if you've
Give
ever
it up
listened.
for Stotts.
Woo, it's my favorite coworker that I talked about when I worked at the law firm. That's the favorite coworker, and now the mystery is revealed.
He's here. He suggested this, and then, I mean, it writes itself. So how are we not going to cover this? But round of applause if you've been to Bunghole Liquors. Yeah. Oh, good. Perfect. It's very small, but it has a long and storied history that we will get into tonight.
We did. We dug into the archives for this. And then when we got there, all the things I dug up that were not online and were in these old newspapers, they had printed on the wall, which was helpful. So I should have just visited first.
Just taking your notebook in.
Yeah.
Are you taking notes?
Yes, I am.
Well, first, so we've left out the critical part of that tour. We had to check in, and you have to give them an email address. Well, Heather gave them the show's email address. So then Professor
Nicodemus Watley
is like, who's here from a podcast? Is somebody here from a podcast? And Heather goes, I don't know. And then she looked at me. I go, I didn't say shit. And we pretended like we didn't know what we was talking about and I think that's why he thought you were a spy.
I'm not a spy.
You were taking notes to steal his,
yes.
He had a lot of hot takes about the other tours and how they steal his material.
He mentioned 0 bungholes though, so I didn't need.
He did not talk about the bungholes, but we will say it. If somebody wants to do a bunghole count, what's the over under?
Oh,
I think we say it at least 53 times.
Oh, wow. I was going to go 27.
Okay, we'll see. Somebody remember 53 and 27? I don't know what the prize will be, but we'll figure it out later.
We're going to invite them on stage to set off fireworks.
Oh, yeah. There's a big sign in the green room that says, please, do not bring people on stage.
Sorry.
Do not throw things into the crowd, and do not use pyrotechnics.
Damn it.
And we said, who was here?
Who did this to you?
And then we decided Chris Angel fits the bill for all 3 of those, and we think he's responsible for all of this happening.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, well, I'm Christie.
I'm Heather.
And let's get into it, you guys. Do y'all say "use guys," or is that a Jersey thing? Pennsylvania thing?
Jersey. I like the look of disgust on several people's faces. No.
That's a Pennsylvania thing.
Fucking die first.
What do y'all call each other?
Assholes.
Assholes? I love it.
Masshole.
Massholes? That's okay. That's a term of endearment? Okay.
Fucking massholes.
Fucking massholes. Okay. Once you get into it becomes part of you.
It's addictive, yeah, you can't stop.
I love it so much. It's the whole attitude.
Yeah.
According to the city's official website, Salem was founded in 1626 by Roger Conant and a group of immigrants from Cape Ann. Initially called Naumkeag, the settlers preferred to call it Salem, derived from the Hebrew word for peace. Naumkeag, meaning fishing place or eel land, is also the name of a nomadic band of the Massachusetts tribe, who had seasonal homes throughout the present-day North Shore and beyond before the colonizers arrived, according to pioneer village Salem. Salem grew and expanded over the years, at one point becoming the richest city in America, owing to its great shipping and importation economy. Eventually, the city had to build a customs house in 1649 to account for, store, and control the millions of dollars worth of textiles, ceramics, artwork, and spices imported to the city by ship from around the world. But as always, money and greed can drive people to do strange things.
I did not learn this until we were studying this, but cinnamon.
Oh, yeah.
Money, baby.
Yeah. Cinnamon, money, and then we learned in Raleigh that the color yellow was a very expensive thing and showed that you were wealthy too.
You had to import it. So there's all these things that came over on ship that were imported that were like, oh, fancy. But the kitchen British guy on the Food Network, he did an entire 30-minute episode on we're going to find out the secret history of cinnamon. And it's like, yeah, well, he found it, I'll tell you what, and it ended up in Salem.
Well, beginning in 1801, a series of secret tunnels was built beneath the city of Salem, according to author Chris Dowgan, a well-regarded expert on the subject. In all, the tunnels stretched about 8 miles, connecting warehouses, banks, personal homes, taverns, and most importantly, the dock, where items came into port. Built by wealthy merchants to retain more profits and avoid paying customs and duties to the government, The tunnels were constructed largely in secret. The dirt removed to create the tunnels was used to fill in the city's common square, while the bricks needed were ordered from friendly masons who were in on the job.
Chris Dowgan is one of my new favorite experts. He ranks up there with the guy in the leather cowboy hat we learned about for the Houston Batman show,
yeah.
who similarly has written like 20 books on the subject.
All tunnels.
He's dedicated his life to the tunnels.
The tunnels.
And he's made all these videos that he did a 3-part series. If you have an afternoon that you're looking to fill with just a juicy presentation about the history of Salem's tunnels, but he goes into like non sequitur stories as he talks about them that are strange and bizarre, and then he responds and fights in the comments with tunnel deniers. So he's a tunnel truther. He's a tunnel truther. There are tunnel deniers. They're like, there aren't even fucking tunnels under there. And he's like, we love trolls around here. Let me tell you why. I was like, this man has written 14 books on the subject. You think he's going to let your little stupid internet comment go unresponded to? I think not.
Oh, he does. That's his job. He pencils in 8 hours, just respond, get in internet fights. That's part of his day.
It's like, we love this. Yeah, that's apparently it. Was like, some people, there's actual records and evidence of it, but there are some people who think that, that's just a myth. That's an urban legend. And I'm like, I don't know that you can just decide that it's an urban legend.
But where did we eat? Where the little fountain was in front?
Yes, yeah, Village Tavern, where you were using the bathroom.
That was where I was recognized. Yeah. Shout out if you're here. They were saying, because we overheard their tour, that it showed the different layers. Yes. The little fountain. It's a fountain.
It's a swimming hole. It's a public swimming
hole. But it
was
also where a lot of kids were just full on swimming in like a foot of water, whatever.
And one grown-up who got off his bicycle and did the same.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, it's a public swimming hole. And then I was like, I think it's an art feature.
It's about the size of the stage, maybe smaller, but you know what? Anything's a swimming pool if you're willing to get in it. But it showed kind of the different layers that tunnel truthers would say, point to that and say, see? There's some evidence right there. It would make total sense, though, if you're trying to be a little sneaky. Mm-hmm. What do? You go underground.
Don't tell anybody about it either. Mm-hmm. And then there's no records. Yeah, because they were secret.
Yeah. You think the government has records on everything?
Dun, dun, dun.
Probably they have records on hardly anything that they release to the public. Once the tunnels were complete, the scheme went into operation. A boat would dock in the harbor, full of thousands of dollars of foreign goods. Before the imported items could be weighed at the customs house, they would split and partially be smuggled into the tunnels beneath the city. The participants in the scheme would sell and distribute the items. Then, when they had earned more money than had been accounted for, they used the tunnels to smuggle cash up to friendly bankers who laundered the money for them.
My only concern with this scheme is that you start to get a lot of players involved.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Somebody's going to flip.
Pay. You got to pay a lot of people, too. And they're like, well, I can't come. My cousin can come move the thing. And you're like, now I got to put the cousin on the payroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one more person that knows about what we're doing.
That's too many people. But Chris Dowgan calls his tour, it used to be called Salem Tunnel Tour, but then he received complaints because the tunnels have been demolished. So someone was like, I went on a tunnel tour. I didn't get to go in any tunnels. Looked at an iPad and talked to a guy for 2 hours. And I was like, I want to do that so bad.
Chris personally responded to that.
Yeah, right. So then he switched it. Now it's called Salem Tunnels Smugglers Tour, Rise of the 1%.
He went from something very niche title after that. But then the deniers point to the lack of tunnels now as proof that they never existed.
Whatever. I'm a truther.
We're truthers. No, I'm on the same page. We're not going to get into a fight about this on stage, Heather. We're on the same page.
I'm not going to deny Chris Dowgan ever. Not after that very long scarf he wore in that interview I watched.
Oh my gosh.
A scarf so long it touched the ground.
It did.
A man like that tells you about a tunnel, you listen.
It was wrapped once around and still touched the ground. That's how long it was.
Somebody that loved him knitted him that scarf, and no one that doesn't know what they're talking about is loved enough to get a scarf like that. Do you know what I mean? So if you got the scarf, that means you're an expert. Ergo, theretofore.
Mm-hmm. When in doubt, you just throw in a bunch of legal terms at the end of a sentence, and then nobody argues with you.
I rest my case.
Ipso facto, ergo, therefore,
yep,
Esquire.
I gotta start sticking that on the back
You
of my
should.
head.
I've told you for years to put Esquire on the end of your name.
So douchey, man.
No, you earned it.
If I put Esquire, I'm gonna buy those Crocs I tried on today.
Oh,
and
God.
Didn't buy. I chickened out and I didn't buy their Margaritaville Crocs.
They were okay. When I say it was a heavy shoe, that's because there was a
Charms.
full-on salt shaker shoved into the hole, the
Yeah.
Crocs hole,
Yep.
and a lime
Ice
and
cubes.
a parrot and a bottle opener,
Yeah.
functional bottle opener. I'm having
am
some
ashamed.
blister issues, and the joke has been, why don't you go get some Crocs? I said, I will fucking walk through the city barefoot before I go buy a pair of
Tommy
Crocs.
kept going, do you want us to go to the Croc store? Do you want us to go to the Croc
And
store?
then we're
So we
in
did.
Faneuil Hall, where the Crocs store is there, so we go in, because, of course, the Margaritaville.
Margaritaville.
Oh, man.
$64.99, man. I could have.
It was
worn
a
them
lot.
tonight. Fuck. Damn it. Regret.
But then you've got a $65 bit, because you're never going to wear those again.
So you're telling me I used to wear Crocs when I worked at Magic Time Machine and I played Minnie Mouse.
But that's like part of a costume, because they look like they should be part of a costume.
They were also real easy to hose all the barbecue sauce off of. So.
Exactly. They also had some Wu-Tang Clan ones, which those were nicer. And they had baby Wu-Tang Clan ones. Thought about
Baby
I
Simon.
know. Baby Simon should be wearing baby Wu-Tang Crocs. Elias Derby, for whom Derby Street is named, was the first millionaire in Salem, having participated in the scheme. He helped organize the tunnel's illegal use, and the street that bears his name would become the site of two prominent locations where even more illegal smuggling would occur in the next century. Starting in 2018.
19.
God.
It's just important to the timeline.
No, it is, yeah.
Sorry.
2018 was recently. 1918 was
But
a
like,
long
was it
time
though?
ago.
You know, you always say time is a flat
Time's
circle.
meaningless. It could have been 2018. Who
Somebody
knows?
asked me a question today. I got a call from my old colleague that said in 2017 or maybe 2016, you did this thing. Do you know where on the computer it's saved? I was like, yeah, do you want my 7th grade locker combination too? And to be fair, he was like, this is a real weird ask. And I was like, no, I don't. Like 2018, it was years, decades ago at this point.
Yeah. Well, starting in 1918, 204 Derby Street was home to the Pocharsky Brothers Funeral Home. The Pocharskys provided vital funeral services for the tight-knit and thriving Polish community in Salem, according to the National Park Service.
Officially, the funeral home could not offer alcohol, but it was an understood aspect of what a funeral director did and what a Polish gathering was.
Shout out to anyone from Poland.
Polish descent. This is like the National Park Service did a huge survey because that was the Polish community really built up this area of Salem and really became kind of the leaders in and it was a very sweet community that they all rallied around each other.
And they knew how to party at a funeral.
Yes.
One neighbor told the NPS,
A funeral was a gathering. There was always a kitchen in the back with a bottle of whiskey, and the men would go there and proceed to become mellow, and the women loved to talk. They had many dances also, but a wake was sort of a social gathering. You were a good neighbor, a good relative. You fulfilled your duty of paying respects to the dead, and then you had a good time. And you caught up on all the gossip.
the dead person was but a means for everyone to hang out.
Yeah, it was a good excuse for a party.
The funeral parlor wasn't the only place in town to get a drink. In 1906, Joseph Kahn had opened a grocery store on the double lot at 164 Derby Street, just down the road from the Pocharsky brothers. Joseph and his wife, Hedwiga, became important members of the Polish community in Salem. One customer described him as,
A real big shot.
saying,
Joe Cohn always dressed up when he came into the store.
their grocery store was a gathering place for friends and neighbors. His store was called simply Polska Groceria, meaning Polish grocery store. He also opened a liquor store adjacent to that storefront. In short order, it earned a very interesting nickname.
The Bunghole.
Who doesn't want to be like, can I meet you down at the Bunghole
There's
later
a-
tonight?
there's
Going
a-
drinking at the Bunghole.
Very proper photo of the proprietor of the store standing in front of it, and it says Bunghole. He's got a nice little apron on, just exactly what you'd imagine, like, come on down. put your mouth on the bunghole. Yeah.
I bet he didn't think that you could find a gif of Butthead just running back and forth on top of Bunghole Liquors.
Oh, that's right.
Saying TP for my bunghole. When they named that, they probably weren't like, that is going to happen.
Like
in 2018, actually way before. Time is meaningless.
It's true.
Salem was in the midst of a drought in the summer of 1914. For years, Selectman Franklin Whitworth had warned the city that a devastating fire was imminent. Overcrowding and combustible building materials had made for a deadly combination, according to Whitworth. Unfortunately, his concerns were largely ignored.
I feel like in many cases when we have these large, devastating fires, there's some evidence of some sad sack who tried to warn everyone and everyone made fun of him.
Wentworth was a sad sack.
He's like, could you maybe move those buildings? Ah, shut up, Wentworth, stuff in your cram hole. Like, they wouldn't listen to him. And I hate to say it, but perhaps he was a little satisfied with himself.
Oh, as he watched the city burn. So he watched his house go up in flames. He's like, I told you, motherfuckers.
He's like, then they'll know. They'll all know.
I learned the difference between flammable and inflammable recently.
Flammable sets on fire and inflammable doesn't? Or is it the opposite?
Well, either can be set on fire, but inflammable, contrary to what you might think, because the name makes it sound like anti, which is why I was confused. Inflammable is it doesn't have to have something to ignite it. It can just go up in flames by itself.
Oh, God,
it's just combustible. Yeah.
God.
I know. Yeah. But you would think it wasn't. So I always an inflammable substance is good. Turns out, no, it's not. It isn't. I'm glad I learned this sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you're like, the lovely sleeping bag for our camping trip is inflammable.
I got us all family inflammable sleeping bags.
We got PJs too.
Wentworth's deadly prediction came true on June 25th, 1914. While it is unclear exactly what started the fire, it is believed that sunlight shining through a window at the Corn Leather Company caused some highly inflammable materials to ignite. Within minutes, the building was engulfed. The raging inferno then spread down Boston Street and Lafayette Street, destroying homes and businesses. In the end, 3 people died, 60 were injured, and nearly half of Salem's population lost their home, according to the New England Historical Society. Additionally, 1,376 buildings were destroyed, resulting in 10,000 people losing their jobs.
Devastating.
When one thing goes up, it's, back then, it was real easy to die back then. How did anybody make it? I don't know. It's a miracle that anyone did.
It's just something around every corner.
Yeah.
Ready to take you. They should have listened to Wentworth. Also, I'd like to point out Corn Leather Company, KORN. So it's where the band started.
Yes.
I don't know if you're aware of that. 1914 leather factory.
Who knew?
Turned real cool rock band.
Yes. Certain Salem residents later reported having seen the ghost of Corey Giles walking through the graveyard the night before the fire. A Salem farmer, Giles was 80 years old when he was accused of witchcraft in April 18th, 1692. At the time, the law in Salem dictated that a person could not be tried for a crime if they didn't enter a plea. Attempting to take advantage of this law, Giles refused to say if he was guilty or innocent. Giles' efforts to save himself were thwarted by a loophole in the law. For 3 days, the older farmer was tortured. On the 3rd day, Giles finally succumbed to his injuries, but not before uttering a curse upon the town. After that, Giles' ghost was allegedly seen walking through the Howard Street Cemetery before every major disaster that occurred in Salem, including the Great Fire.
Man, that is a horrifying way to go.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the way people were tortured back then was like, what have we got lying around? A bunch of planks of wood and some giant boulders. Bring it on over here. This is what's happening now.
Smash them,
it
man.
was wild. So he was killed in a way that was called, his headstone says, pressed to death.
Yeah.
But he would not give up. They kept saying, are you going to confess? Are you a witch? And he would just go, more weight.
Dude, boss move.
Yeah. And still refused to give it up. Because if he didn't admit to it, and they couldn't take his property, and he wanted his property to still go to his children. So by not admitting to anything and dying, it still stayed within his family.
And that's what we learned last night from Professor Nicodemus Waitley, was like a lot of the accusations for witchcraft really just involved the sheriff coming in and taking all your shit and maybe not telling the state what all they took, and then he would sell it for himself and keep the money. So they were running a big scam. Also, for Giles, if you're 80 years old back then, you are a tough son of a gun.
Right.
That is, to live
That's
to be
like
80,
300 now.
Yeah, like I said, but I mean, back then, a lot of people dropped dead at 35, 40 for a life of hard labor, and he was a farmer, too. So, yeah, weight tracks. That tracks for him. I wish that he was my ancestor. He's not. I found my ancestor that was involved in the Salem witch trials. It was the sheriff, and feel like Jessie on Saved by the Bell when she found out that her ancestors drove the ships with enslaved people on it, and she's just like, I am so sorry. But I looked into my ancestor, who was a sheriff, and he turned coat about halfway through and was like, maybe we shouldn't be drowning these people and burning them. So he felt bad later.
That was kind of the same thing with Giles, because his wife was accused of witchcraft, and he was like, burn her! God. And then he got accused. He's like, wait a minute.
We've gone too far.
Witchcraft, yeah, so that's karma.
Yeah, you feel bad. We don't always find happy things when we trace our ancestors back, and I'm at least lucky enough to be able to trace them. Well, I had a cousin that got real into that and then just sent me the PDF. I did no work.
I linked him up with somebody else on 23andMe, and they had done all the work, and I benefited from it.
Done and done.
As the city of Salem was being engulfed in flames, Joe Cone opened his storefronts to the public. He allowed community members to come inside and take whatever they needed for free in the face of the fire, telling his wife,
well, I'm going to let people come in and take what they want because it won't be long before this place is going.
His wife told the National Park Service,
people came in and they took what they wanted and they cleaned out the store. They took canned goods and cookies and bread and everything they needed. And finally, so it happened, we were left without anything.
The Cones were lucky. When the smoke cleared, both their grocery and their bunghole survived. The Cones continued operating in the location at 164 Derby Street, selling legal liquor until the U.S. government stepped in and ruined all the fun.
Boo.
Boo.
That is really nice, though, to just go, it's going to burn up anyway.
Yeah.
Just
you don't need all this. Even if it survives, there's going to be a lot of people left with nothing.
It's really thoughtful.
So you got to take care of your community.
You know what? The owner of the bunghole is a nice guy.
Yeah. With the rise of evangelical Protestantism and its views on alcohol as ungodly and destructive to the nation, the Prohibition movement began. In 1919, Congress ratified the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, effectively prohibiting the manufacture, transportation, and sale of intoxicating liquors in the United States. On January 17, 1920, the law went into effect and was enforced by the federal government, which saw to it that bars and stores once selling alcohol legally were forced to go dry. With the demand increasing and the supply waning, enterprising entrepreneurs began smuggling alcohol in from other countries. In the northern United States, that meant barrels coming from over the border in Canada.
And the agents that were tasked with this were making money hand over fist for the government. They said it was something like a 15,000% profit over how much it costs to just run the office. That's how much liquor they were taking away and how much they were taxing people, because they would take the liquor, they would fine you, and they would be like, and you sold this? Oh, okay, well, you also income tax on that. And then it would be this huge, massive fine that they would just kind of extort people, honestly. It was a racket, kind of like...
The government was extorting people?
Yeah, well... making me pay
Heather.
I know. I don't mean to spread rumors about old Uncle Sam, but check your taxes. I'm kidding.
It's wild. This is going to sound naive.
Go on.
Probably I shouldn't even say it out loud. It's not that interesting. It's just wild that you can just be like, all right, now nobody can drink anymore.
Yeah.
And now there's a law, and then like nobody can drink. But then what's wilder is that we reversed it.
Yeah, that they go, well, everyone's pissed off and a lot of mafia going on.
So what should we do? Give them alcohol. Give the around. Pissed, angry moms alcohol.
It is. I mean, it's true. It does show you how powerful whenever a law like this gets passed. And the government spent a lot of money enforcing it, but it also made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But then that's how much of a push against it. So I think if we all pushed for something that was illegal, that we think it should be legal in every state of the nation.
All this underground alcohol needed a place to be drunk. That's when speakeasies developed. Drinking lounges frequently found behind secret doors, in basements, or otherwise hidden from the view of law enforcement. The Boston Globe summed up the new dry era in an article from 1921.
1 year ago today, the great drought swept over the country. Scores of Boston saloons closed their doors. A new age is upon us, the age of the smuggler, the rum runner, the home brewer, the speakeasy of fabulous illicit profits, and the prohibition agent who sleuths against them all. Sleuths, man.
It was like a troll from Boston. He's got
a reporter hat on. He's got the number in the hat.
But he also sounded a bit like a gnome or a troll.
We don't know where he lives.
A magical creature.
We don't know where he lives.
That's true. To smuggle the barrels of liquor through the city, rum runners began utilizing the old underground tunnels along Derby Street. According to Christopher Dowgan, author of one of 12 books, Salem's Secret Underground, The History of the Tunnels in the City.
Part 1 of 15.
The tunnels that once hosted spices, molasses, and textiles were soon full of barrels of illegal beer, wine, and liquor. Built for the convenience of wealthy merchants, the tunnels that stretched 8 miles throughout Salem allowed easy access between the docks, the banks, private homes, breweries, and speakeasies. The waterfront section of Salem included a stretch of tunnels running down Derby Street, all the way down to another place everyone would soon start calling the Bunghole.
So we had the official Bunghole, now we're about to have a new underground bunghole.
What's better than one bunghole? Two bungholes.
Conveniently located near one another.
Mm-hmm. What did you just say?
I said they got to be conveniently located near one another.
Yeah, well, you got two holes. They're close by, but there's a little street in between.
Just a little whoop.
That, you got to go to one place and you got to get to the other. I chugged a beer backstage, and I got to say... It's catching up with me right now. All right. The word bunghole means the hole in a cask or barrel.
It's a real word.
What?
It's a real word, y'all.
It's a totally real word. In the early 20th century, the word was also used metaphorically to describe things that leaked. That hasn't changed. Some things in time are just constant. Yeah. Some common phrases were
saving at the spigot and letting it run out of the bunghole. Not being content with the bunghole view of life.
Or
saving at the spigot and wasting at the bunghole.
There's a lot of saving and letting things go and run.
Like I said, the hours and hours and hours I spent scouring through newspapers searching the word bunghole, and it was so many politicians using this metaphor, some term of letting things run out of the bunghole, the waste of the bunghole. Things can dribble out of the bunghole if you're not paying attention. And I'm like, sir, you're at a school board meeting.
But at what point did it become what we know it as today?
When it made the booty hole turn?
Yeah.
I bet you Beavis.
Is that when?
I think it was Beavis.
God, we owe so much to them. Man, pioneers, truly.
Honestly.
Those animated pioneers.
Love old Mike Judge.
Mm-hmm. An article titled...
Bigger, Better Bunghole? Oh, we skipped the part.
What?
We missed a part.
Oh, fuck.
We'll edit that out. Cut that. Edit it out.
I'm leaning in at this point. The plug in a cask was important for wine, liquor, and beer traders in those days, as it determined the pour rate from the barrels. As such, there was an industry standard size for the barrel openings. However, at a beer barrel makers convention, Alcohol distributors debated the appropriate size for the openings. You gotta get. It's like we were talking about USB ports earlier. Everybody needs to get on the same fucking page. We're so tired of it. Everybody needs to get on the same page of the bunghole openings. If some people have a bigger bunghole, then more is coming out than others, and that's the one you want. So everyone's gonna go to big bunghole over tiny one.
It was a controversy.
An article titled
"Bigger and Better Bungholes?"
explained the debate.
Controversies spread through the convention of beer barrel makers over the question of how large a bunghole should be. The oldest members say tradition demands a definite standard-sized bunghole. Newcomers in the business disagree. They're demanding smaller bungholes.
It's the opposite of being progressive,
right?
I think. I mean, I guess, why would you want a smaller bunghole? To give people less, so therefore you make more money?
I think it slows the pour rate. When you open it on the spigot and the bunghole is smaller, it sucks the air in slower because of less space, and then it maybe makes the spigot go out less.
That's science. During Prohibition, bunghole also became a slang term for underground speakeasy lounges. With alcohol banned outright, drinking at the wakes or funerals was no longer allowed at the Procharsky brothers, at least not above ground. According to the Bunghole Liquors official website,
liquor flowed freely in the funeral parlor basement, the same place where the bodies were embalmed.
Given this underground location was host to a secret drinking location, it became known as
the bunghole.
According to their website, the regular phrase exchanged between drinking buddies would be,
"Psst, me tonight at the bunghole. Don't tell your family where you're going."
So many things happen at the bunghole. What is anyone keeping track of how many times we've said it?
What we got? 37. Oh, we've
already blown hers out of the water.
Past.
What did I say? 53?
Yeah.
Also, what's your name?
Thanks, Jennifer. Thank you.
Are you on the VIP list?
Yep.
Well, now you are. Because you legitimately are keeping count of how many times we've said bunghole.
Much appreciated.
Very sweet.
Oh!
Bunghole battle up front, guys. Battle of the bungholes happening.
The pyrotechnics are starting.
This is why they say you can't have fire on stage, because somebody's going to light one because tensions are high. And we all know if you have an inflammable material up here, this place is going up.
Careful. Sinisterhood will be right back. Right up top, we want to thank EmbarkVet.com for supporting Sinisterhood. Go to EmbarkVet.com to get free shipping and save $40 with promo code CREEPY.
We're so excited to work with Embark because they allow pup parents to learn more about their dog's health insights and their breed with the highest rated dog DNA test on the market.
I love to know what the dogs are because I'm a hypochondriac for myself and the dog. So if you call the vet and go, my dog's acting weird, and then they say what kind, I didn't have to say I found her in a ravine. I don't know. You tell me. I could say she's this percent Chihuahua, this percent Min Pin. And they said, oh, they're more likely to have this issue. Let's try this treatment. So it's been very, very helpful.
It's not just fun to find out what they are.
Yeah.
It's also necessary for their medical well-being as well.
Yeah, Embark is an incredible tool for dog owners that screens for more than 210 genetic health risks across 350 breeds. That's more breeds tested than any other dog DNA test.
As dog owners, Embark's dog DNA test was an easy choice. Not only was the process easy, you just take a simple little cheek swab in their sweet little cheeks, ship it off, but Embark also partners with Cornell University College of Veterinary Medicine, meaning that they have twice the data as the competition.
And in addition to the genetic health screening and breed identification, Embark offers the Mystery Relative Finder, which offers the ability to find your dog's relatives from close to distant. Kate and Buffy, I know it in my heart, they're cousins.
We need to link them up on our Embark account so we can see if they are. Embark will tell you based on science how much DNA your dog shares with other Embark dogs in their database and offer you the ability to connect directly with them.
Embark offers the most scientifically advanced dog DNA test. Their test analyzes more than 230,000 genetic markers. That's over twice as much genetic data as the competition.
Right now, Embark has a limited time offer on their breed and health kit and purebred kit for our listeners. Go to embarkvet.com to get free shipping and save $40 with promo code CREEPY.
Visit embarkvet.com and use promo code CREEPY to save $40 today. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Today was one of the rough days. Had a car issue that was going on. I was late for stuff, trying to manage everything. And a day like today is great that I know I can text my dear beloved therapist and say, this has been a rough one. And even if it's just a kind word back, or I'm listening, or I'll think of things to discuss in our next session, it's so good to have that one-to-one contact with her that I so cherish.
You feel proactive, like you're taking care of yourself. And also it's the nice sounding board to just vent and, get it off your chest. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life. But when you learn how to find your own solutions, there's no better feeling.
A therapist can help you become a better problem solver, making it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or how small. And that's what I love of this. I feel like it's literally raining crap on me right now. I'm having such a tough time. And to be empowered to take care of myself, I really love to have that extra support.
If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, and entirely online.
Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey and switch therapists at any time.
When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/sinister today to get 10% off your first month.
That's betterhelp.com/sinister.
Getting alcohol in and out of the bunghole at 204 Derby wasn't difficult. The basement was connected to the tunnels running underneath the city, making it easy to smuggle barrel after barrel of sweet bootleg alcohol inside, setting them up right beside the embalmed bodies. Would you drink next to a dead body?
If it was in a container.
A coffin?
Coffin, casket, drawer situation, a cart, maybe one of those wood boxes you could nail the top shut.
So, as opposed to it's just Weekend at Bernie's on a chair next to you?
Yeah.
How else would it be displayed?
Laid
laying
out.
on the ground, just thrown on the floor?
Like a slab, to prepare the body,
Oh,
like a table.
So you need sides.
Yeah, I don't want it just out on a table.
Well, really,
a
a slab is just half a table.
Where'd the other half go?
That's what I'm saying. A slab, you just have the body, and you don't want that. But a tape.
Wait, what are you saying?
I meant a. God damn it. The drawers.
Yes.
The drawers would have sides.
Yeah. I feel like I said a drawer is fine. I just don't want it out. Just kind of. I don't want it just
you
bump it. And
you want to be able to push it inside the drawer. I thought you meant it could still be out on display, but there were sides up.
No,
okay.
I don't want any sort of a possibility, however minute, that it gives me a sitting up one of these. And it's
I would be more
How did I get
concerned I
here?
would knock it over.
Yeah, also
I'd
that.
stumble into it and
Yeah.
just cause a big scene.
Or you really have to make sure that the tubes are connected to what they need to be connected to, and the barrels of the moonshine is connected to what it needs to be connected to. So you don't take a swig of something.
All of a sudden you're drinking embalming fluid.
Or you moonshine Uncle Greg, and they're
I think
they're
Uncle
"He
Greg's
smells."
the same either way.
Yeah, I was gonna
'cause-
say he smells like alcohol. And
Yeah.
they're like, it's Uncle Greg. Yeah.
But also, I feel like moonshine would do the same as embalming
probably,
fluid.
yeah, probably
so,
pretty close, certainly.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, though his grocery store remained open, Joe Cohn's bunghole at 164 Derby Street was forced to close when the country went dry. There is no documented evidence that the two bungholes worked in tandem. But the Pacharski brothers and Joe Cohn would have known one another. I just want to say, this is Heather's personal conspiracy theory as to what has happened.
Backed by page after page of first count research.
From Chris Dowkin.
No, it's from
And her own, yes.
Yeah, I looked at all. They printed all of the old phone books from back then, and the directories they would put literally they would list every street, every business at every location. Then they would list it again by alphabetical order, so you could go down the street and find them. And I was just like, click, click, click. And Barris is like, what are you doing? I'm like, shh. I'm on the 1911 Salem directory. Hold on. I'm trying to find something. Click, click. And then I was just write it down. Then I go to the next 1912. Write it down. Next one. So I pieced this together.
She had a whole string.
Yes.
The garage has been turned into her home base.
Yeah, he does not have an office anymore. It is my tunnel conspiracy.
The buildings were a 2-minute walk from each other. Plus, the Pacharski brothers provided funeral services for basically everyone in the Polish community in those days, according to the National Parks Service's study. Attendance at funerals was mandatory for members of the St. Joseph community, a group in which both the Pacharskis and the Cohns participated.
It was actually a really sweet thing. It was a mutual aid society that they developed in the community in Salem at the time, where you paid a certain amount of money in, and if you got sick, they would take care of you.
They still have those.
Yeah, and if your family, if someone died in the family, not only would you have a funeral bought, paid for, and taken care of. So the Pacharski brothers didn't really have to donate their services because they're a business. They got paid. Then everybody showed up. There was food, booze.
Alcohol.
It was a good time. You're getting the hot goss at the wake. So I loved it. I was like, but they were both very well documented in this study.
They would have known each other.
First party, they did interviews with folks that lived there at the time when they were up in their 70s and 80s. And I was like, you know what? Go National Park Service that you're out getting these oral histories of what happened in these communities and writing them all down. So we can make butt jokes about them.
After all, where would a funeral parlor get access to liquor, beer, and wine except through a man who had already been selling it before the ban went into effect? Cohn had been sourcing alcohol to sell in his store, and the Pacharskis had a spot to serve the drinks. It was a perfect match, though it would have been an illegal one, and as such, not one with any documentation. Just Heather's own
I put pieces
gut
together.
instinct. Yep.
Sherlock Holmes didn't have documentation when he solved crimes, did he? He wasn't real. Never mind.
I didn't know that until within the last decade is when I learned that he was not actually a real person.
Oh no.
Yeah. It wasn't I wasn't bummed. It wasn't like Santa or anything, but
if you're very good, Sherlock Holmes will bring you a pipe to smoke.
In addition to drinking in underground rooms, near corpses, and embalming equipment, Prohibition had some other unintended consequences. With the decrease in legal alcohol consumption, the United States saw an increase in violent crime from the likes of Al Capone and other organized criminals. After backlash from the public, Prohibition finally ended in 1933.
By Kevin Costner. He ended Prohibition and saved everyone.
What movie was that?
The Untouchables, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Costner.
I don't know that that was when he was a prime.
He hit the peak, man.
Was
Waterworld.
that like Dances with Wolves, Kevin
Dances
Costner?
With Wolves,
Yeah,
Waterworld. Yeah, no one else in here seems as horny for Kevin Costner, but that's okay. More Kevin Costner for me.
The often told story of Bunghole Liquors says that with the end of Prohibition, the funeral parlor immediately converted into a liquor store. However, public records show the Pacharski brothers' funeral parlor remained a funeral parlor in that location after the end of the ban. No word on whether they kept drinking in the basement, but records show it stayed in the building at 204 Derby Street for 13 years after that. However, a different bunghole went legit at the end of the dry spell. Capitalizing on the newfound legality of alcohol, Joe Cohn registered the name,
The Bunghole Package Liquor Store,
with the state of Massachusetts in 1933, obtaining the second liquor license in the city after Prohibition was lifted. Records show at the time it obtained its license and reopened. Joe Cohn was still operating the store at 164 Derby, just 2 minutes down the street from the funeral parlor.
I think if you get used to drinking down in a basement with embalming bodies, no
it
other
feels comfortable.
Yeah, and no bar, you're like, this ain't the same.
This doesn't hit the same.
This ain't the same.
It's like in college. Every bar I went to, everybody was smoking inside.
Yeah.
And then later, when you go to a bar, you'd be like, this doesn't feel right. Now you're like, thank God that everybody's not just chain smoking constantly, including myself.
Congratulations.
On
not smoking.
Oh, it's been like 20 years, but that's not true. It hasn't been 20 years, but it's been a long time. But thank you, yeah. The officially registered Bunghole Liquors remained in its location until 1927, when the Cones sold the building to the Society for the Preservation of New England Antiquities. For a brief time, Cone and his wife ran the Bunghole from their home located at 5 West Circle, down near the water's edge. In 1939, the Bunghole moved again, this time to a building at 151 Derby, the present-day home of Which Way Gifts. The Bunghole found its final resting place at 204 Derby, the former home to the funeral parlor in 1947. This location was perfect, as the Cones could utilize the basement, once used for embalming, to store packages of liquor. However, the new tenants soon found they weren't alone. The store's official website warns,
if you crept downstairs and tore down a few walls today, you'd notice the embalming tubes and no doubt a few empty flasks left behind from ancestors of the Bunghole who would occasionally haunt their old secret hangout.
But the specters make appearances upstairs too. In Wicked Salem, assistant manager of Bunghole Liquors, Brandon O'Shea, said that during a big rush during New Year's Eve of 2013, the store had a ghostly shopper.
My coworker saw this woman walk behind the wine rack and go out back. It's 2 hours later, my other coworker bumped into the same woman, but then there was no one there.
It's a story. There's some holes in it. Who amongst us hasn't gone into a liquor store and then 2 hours later you're like, I don't know where I was for the last 2 hours. Maybe I was here, maybe I wasn't. Still, the basement is arguably the most active area for spirits. Host of Wild Card Journeys, Eric, spoke to employees inside the store who claimed they
will not go downstairs due to reports of groans and moving shadows.
O'Shea reported similar instances underground, telling Wicked Salem that
one of the cameras down there picks up white lights. When you're working alone, you always see weird things here. I'm telling you, I'm the last person to ever believe this stuff, but something is here.
Oh my gosh, yeah, isn't she doing great?
Thank you so much.
That is definitely Eric O'Shea's voice, 100%.
Yeah.
Eric is, he's got a lot of stories, but he doesn't believe shit.
Nah.
No.
My last one to believe is shit.
Given its history as a funeral home, it is no wonder that employees have experienced the paranormal. O'Shea explained his skepticism upon starting his job there.
This place is definitely haunted. I came here and I heard it was haunted, but I never believed it.
That all changed once he had an encounter with a ghostly presence at work.
I'm going to level with you. I fucked a ghost. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not saying it's off the table. But no, not this ghost. He said,
well, maybe.
He said, the light was off and I was in the bathroom. That's how I do my business in the dark. It's between me and God. I'm kidding. For real, though. I swear to God, a cat rubbed up against me. I'm not a believer in that sort of thing, but I ran out. I asked the coworker if there was a cat or a dog in the building. He said, no, there was nothing there. All I know is something touched my leg.
At this point, I feel like we should talk about
going there.
Our experience with a psychic yesterday.
Oh, yeah, rewind. That's right. Before the Bunghole.
We were like, we're going to get the true Salem experience. We're going to get our futures told to us. So there's a ton of people that offer this service in Salem. Professor Nicotine?
Nicoderm. Nicoderm is, he invented the patch.
Nicodemus Watley.
That's right.
Told us they're all full of shit. He didn't say
they're all
shit.
frauds.
They're all frauds. That's what he said. Well, he was right about Tammy, who we went and saw.
I don't know, Tammy.
We were like, where should we pick? Then we said, oh, we're going to go. Round of applause if you've ever been to Fatima's Psychic Studio. No one?
No, because if they did, if they were so successful, they wouldn't even be here. They'd be in a palace in the woods somewhere.
Well, it was a standalone. We didn't want to go to like one in a store because we thought if it's a standalone, surely it's like you don't go get an iPhone at the T-Mobile store. You go to the Apple store because people there are more trained. Well, we showed up. We don't know what her name was, but we're calling her Fatima. She first talked to us.
Her name's on the door, so
but we don't know if that was her.
No, we don't know.
But at first we were just testing it out because we were all hungry.
Yeah.
3 of us were very high. One of us wasn't.
That's fair.
Tommy wasn't. And so we stood outside this building for what seemed like an eternity. And we were like, somebody's got to go up there and ask him how much this costs.
You have to set the scene of what this building was. It has an awning that says her name on the outside.
Fatima's Psychic Studio.
Her studio with a phone number. And then there's a staircase. And the door, it says come on in, but the door's locked and there's a doorbell. And so we all decide we can't do this.
I was like, I cannot go. Like, I can't do this right now. Tommy. I can't go ring a doorbell and have a conversation with somebody. So finally, Tom, who was not even getting a reading, was like, I'll do it. And then Heather was like, I want to come. And then I was like, me too. So then we all ended up going, but Tommy had to talk because none of us would.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, the doorbell, a woman with no shoes on and jean shorts and a Victoria's Secret pink shirt that was yellow, opens up the door and is like, come on in, come in. And it was like, oh, we just wanted to inquire. Get in here, come on, have a seat down. And Tommy was like, we would like to inquire about the prices. And we wanted to check and see if you were fully booked. And I was like, what a kind thing to say. To a person.
Nobody else was there.
No one has been there. And then we noticed a woman on the sofa was having a full-fledged conversation on a speakerphone. No regard for us coming in there. And she said, yeah, I just come back, I'll tell you the prices, whatever. Go down to this seafood restaurant. We went to Sea Level.
It was very good.
Had a delightful time. And then when we came back, the lady who was previously on the speakerphone goes, the lady from before is not here. I'm Tammy. Come in. And we were like, oh, okay. And then she's like, what do you want? And we were like, I don't know.
It's 1,000 degrees in this house.
First of all.
Which, we love some AC. Nobody in Salem used it.
Nah, those buildings were built in the 1200s.
There was a lot of fans, but Tammy had nothing. It was just
thick, like burgundy shag carpet.
Mm-hmm. A million artifacts. Oh, and then when we came back, Tammy answers the door. Another woman is now on the couch. She's taking Tammy's place. Our theory is Tammy and Fatima, sisters, person on the couch was the mom. There was a staircase. We think they all lived upstairs. It was a family affair.
She's like, wild time.
She's like, what do y'all want? We're like, oh, just like, our future's told to us or whatever. And she's like, all right, go sit in there. I'll be in there in a second. Well, there's only 3 chairs. One of them is for Tammy, and it's us and Leanne. So I go, you think I can move that chair? And Heather's like, yeah, just move it.
This place.
So I pick it up, and then Tammy comes in, and I was like, can I move this chair? And she's like, well, I guess. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just stand? So then I sit in it, and she's like, you're in the hot seat. What do you want to know? And I was like, oh. And then she proceeded to tell me how Tommy's keeping secrets from me. And I have a bunch of frenemies, and nobody wants me to succeed, and Ella's going to be a troublemaker. And I was like, and then she's like, do you have any questions? I go, I think I'm good. Yeah. Leanne, you wouldn't jump in the hot seat? Because first of all, it's 90 fucking degrees in this room. And I'm melting, and I've been told, like, how shitty. And she kept going, what's your husband keeping from you?
Yes!
And I go, I don't know. I don't think anything. Are you having a bump in the road? I go, no, things are pretty good. Are you sure? I was like, I think so. And so then later she says, you have 4-year-old. She's a troublemaker. I was like, no, she's precious.
She's great.
What's happening right now? And she's like, well, when she gets to be older, she's going to be a troublemaker. And that's when your husband's going to keep something from you. I'm like, you can't just tie all this back together, Tammy.
If there's not a secret now, there will be a secret someday. It's like, what the fuck?
She kept trying to and she'd be like, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, it wasn't though.
I think that was related.
She'd be like, do you agree? And I was like, I don't care. I'm just burning up. Just let me go. Then Leanne went, same. The one that was the most off was yours.
What do you mean? Oh, because she was like, it's very convenient. I watched the Penn and Teller bullshit. As a person who has visited a legitimate psychic before, I watched the Penn and Teller bullshit, and there's a couple of like tricks that they do, and like she was doing all of them, and I was like, I've watched Penn and Teller, ma'am. Too. Yeah, she might have watched it too. But yeah, she's like, Jay, there's somebody, Jay, in your life, John. And I was like, my uncle's named John. She's like, you're very close to him. I was like, we do all right. She was like, you're gonna come into an inheritance, and I was like, fun fact, a few years ago when I was a practicing attorney, I wrote his will, and no, I'm not. I was like, it's not going to me.
I know for certain I'm not.
He has really great advice for you, so you need to connect with your Uncle John. And she's like, there's a spirit around you, which this is just very convenient. She goes, who is it? And having watched the Penn and Teller and being a fucking sap that I am, I was like, I want her to do a good job and feel good about herself. So I was like, yeah, my dad, he died a few years ago. And she's like, oh, he's with you. I know that you guys didn't get along and you had a lot of turmoil.
I'm just going.
And I was like, my dad was my best friend. And she goes, he kept his feelings from you. I go, he told me he loved me 34 times before we hung up on him. And she was like, but you know what I mean. And I was like, no, I don't.
None of us do, Tammy.
No, so yeah, she was.
She was like, she's like, your things are kind of dry in the relationship. We're like, she just got married. No, Tammy.
I was like, I had sex the day I left. She was like, hi. She was like, yeah, I think, it's been a dry spell. I said, I dated another person that had a dry spell. She's like, that's what I meant.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I meant.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because I'm such a sap, and I'm like, well, I don't want her to feel like a loser. So
I could have cared less. I was like, I came here for the truth. I'm getting bamboozled.
Yeah, I felt, and then I said a very filthy thing.
Which Tammy
thought was hilarious.
Lost it on.
She thought it was hilarious.
Heather goes, no, it's great. He's hitting them walls.
I said, he wrecks my walls. He wrecks my walls. And she started laughing.
And this is where we won Tammy over. And then Tammy was like, ha, ha, ha. I know, that's right. Sometimes you just want a little smack on the ass, right, ladies? Right? And
she was like, you want to get into that weird shit? And I was like, okay.
I was like, now I'm into it. Okay, put me back in that seat now. Now I want to see what's happening now. We left, and I was like, I just want to hang. I don't want them to tell me anything. No. I just want to see them all interact and just be there while it happens.
Yes.
Because it was
fantastic.
What did she call herself?
A born reader.
A born reader.
She was like, I don't need to spend any time with you. I'm a born reader.
Yeah,
so
she's like, what's your name and birthday? Okay, here we go. And then I'm like, there was no not even like a...
Hold your hand.
No.
She didn't need to touch you.
No.
She did need you pay her in Venmo before she starts talking to
Yes.
So that was a very important
we did have to
part
do.
of the process. Is she was like, my powers don't turn on until I get the ding on my phone that you've paid me. Yeah, it was a wild time. I did buy a sex magic book.
Yeah,
so I'll let you all know how that goes later. Or maybe I won't. Who knows? I may poof into another dimension.
She will.
Yeah, well, I'm fucking open book over here. Mm-hmm. Open sex magic book. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the best psychic information we got from her was to go to the Sea Level restaurant because it was really good.
That is true. Yeah, it was very good. Had a very good lobster roll.
The bartender at the Sea Level, fantastic. And I go, what do you know about Bunghole Liquors around here? And she's like, I don't know. It's a liquor store. I like park over there. And I said, do you know about it being haunted? She's like, oh, the guy working upstairs, he works there. And she went up. It was so nice. She in the middle of the shift went up and caught the other server and said, hey, what happens? And this is where I got to come back. Because she goes, I asked him, and he goes, oh, you want me to tell the story? And I was like, yeah, if you want to. I don't know. And then we didn't get the story.
No.
So I'll never know. We'll never know what the story
But then we did ask the guy in Bunghole Liquors, and he goes, I've seen more shit sitting around the house with my old man. And we're like, what have you seen? Shadow figures, lights, things just turn on and off without me and my old man touching them. We're like, damn. We go, how old's your house? I don't know, the 70s. I was like, so I was expecting the 1800s.
1910 or something. No, I did, and I ran into another guy at Bunghole Liquors. He was a gentleman in a very cool leather vest.
We invited him. Is he here?
He was writing it down and then was like, I don't know. If you're here, though, please hang out after the show. Because I go, have you seen anything here? And he goes, of course. See shit all the time. And I said, have you worked here a couple of decades? He goes, 4 months. And then I was like, I want to clarify. I meant ghost stuff. He goes, I know what you meant. Yeah. All the time I think somebody's in here with me and nobody's in here. Nobody's in here. I was like, people need to shop at Bunghole Liquors because it sounds like they don't.
Well, O'Shea's encounter is not unheard of in the Witch City. Reports of black cats, both real and otherworldly, are a common occurrence. According to Suzanne Seville, author of Hidden History of Salem.
For the Halloween capital of the world, Salem's ghost population is surprisingly small and furry.
We did see on our tour We had to stop and stand in front of some building. I don't remember what it was for quite a while. And in the window was a black cat just hanging out.
Yeah, it was awesome. Mm-hmm. Because we were high. So we were like, look at that cat.
And that's when I just kept zooming in, taking pictures of the cat and the professor's fly that was still down. And I was like, oh, he's standing in a group of like 25 people. No one has told him. And then later we were like, when do y'all think he realized it had been down the whole time? Like at home on his drive home? Because at the end of the tour, he was like, I just have to say, up until today, it's only been 2 people in my tours. This has been such a great tour. The energy's been so... He was so happy with himself and us. And I was like, you're going to find out your fly's been down for the past 2 hours. And nobody told you. And it was very obvious.
Yeah.
Very obvious. We tipped him quite a bit.
Yeah. As a former tour guide, the whole time I'm just like, do I tell him? And I was like, I'm so scared. And then when he thought I was mocking him, I was like, I don't want him to be mad at me. And then I got in my head, and then I just panicked and
I kept stopping to take pictures, and Tommy was like, come on, we're going to get in trouble. Because everyone was, the professor was not there to fuck around.
No,
he did not want... He made this guy hold the lantern the entire time, and then he kept roasting him.
Dude, he emasculated him for working in insurance, which is like a reasonable career.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, insurance. And I was like, are we throwing stones?
And he would be like, lantern bearer, come. And like the guy was there with his wife, so then his wife was like, I guess I'll come up there with you while you hold this lantern. Like he got totally roped into this thing. It was almost, Heather, you would have been on your own. I'm sorry. I could not have gone up there and dealt with this.
I probably would have just quit.
In addition to the cat stalking Bunghole Liquors, 2 other feline ghosts haunt Salem structures. One in the Daniels house, located just a 4-minute walk up the street, and the other in the Witch house, about a half-mile away. Seville wrote,
for a house in Salem to exist without a cat would have to be some sort of minor miracle.
Based on O'Shea's experience in the Bunghole, it sounds like the same could be said for liquor stores as well.
Gotta have a liquor store cat.
Gotta have a bunghole cat.
And eats the rats. That's what I learned too. Is a lot of folks kept cats.
Oh yeah,
the tunnel rats. You got a hole in the back of your house that goes into the depths of the city, and you're like, bunch of goddamn rats are running over here. Yeah,
get a cat.
100%.
Get a cat to take care of those rats. Isn't that what they do at Disney?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Thank you for the validation. I have heard that, and I didn't know if it was a myth, but from this one person saying yes,
confirmed.
Say it is. That is true.
Confirmed.
Mm-hmm. They also there's a lot of weird Disney stuff. I'm not going to go on a Disney tangent, but just Google it. It's weird. It's like the whole psychology. I will talk about it for a second. The whole psychology of like what they do and like how things are painted and stuff to get people to spend more money. It's wild.
I once watched an hour and 45-minute YouTube documentary about the history of the Fast Pass.
Wow.
It was so...
But that went by slow.
Fucking interesting. About like exactly what you're saying, the psychology of it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, well this, it costs more to do, yada, yada, whatever. And again, in a second, I was like, it's over? What about now? I want to know more information. It's all about now you got to do the Genie Plus thing. It's a whole deal. Yeah. But I love that. It's called Defunct Land on YouTube. Shout out if you like to watch YouTube shows. Oh, it's real good.
A lot of people for Defunct Land, too.
Yeah, right. It's great.
Shout out if you've ever seen Chompy and the Girls. Okay,
Crickets.
I thought so.
Crickets.
This was a movie that my husband talked us into watching last night.
It's a cult classic.
It's a cult indie classic horror film. There's almost 300 people here. No one has heard of this.
Wow. Guess we don't have a lot of movie buffs in the audience. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Well, if you want to just be like watching like, oh, okay, and then record scratch, what the fuck is happening moment.
I screamed out.
Go check out Chompy and the Girls. It was a wild ride.
I screamed out. I did twice.
It was, man, please somebody watch it and then DM us about it.
It's like, at the end of the day,
it was awful, Heather.
It's like, at the very least, it's competent, but it's competent in the manner that it seems like a person was like,
I bet you I can make a movie out of that. Mm-hmm. And then like someone goes, that's a fucking terrible idea. You're not going to make a movie. And they go, just watch. And they made it. And someone's like, it's technically a movie. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But you're like, what am I? And the face, go watch it.
You got to see Chompy's face. Oh, I want to talk about I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not spoiling anything. We'll say afterwards, Heather left. I stayed up, watched Escape Room 2, better than the first one.
Shout out to the Escape Room fans in the audience.
Yeah. It's a fun...
It knows what it wants.
It's a fun franchise. It knows what it is. It's fun to just have on. Doesn't take itself too seriously, unlike Chompy. That's laugh.
That's my laugh.
You have different laughs. That's my favorite laugh. Leanne and I talked about how that's our favorite. Our favorite is when you're Googling something and you just go, because then we know something dirty is about to come out of your mouth.
Horrific.
Author Sam Baltrusis summed up the city's interaction with spirits in Ghosts of Salem, Haunts of the Witch City.
The dead love Salem.
That's what he said. The history of the city as a shipping port, the site of a series of horrific deaths during the witch trials, and the 1914 fire have given Salem what Baltrusis calls
an aura of disaster.
That spooky feeling in the city and at Bunghole Liquors can actually be explained through psychology. The Evolutionary Studies in Imaginative Culture, or ESSIC, journal analyzed why some buildings are more likely to feel haunted or creepier than others. One of those reasons is the age of a place. When a building is as old as Bunghole Liquors, people are more likely to think it is haunted.
Because there's been much more time for tragic things to have taken place.
This sounds like common sense, but someone did a study on it.
Oh yeah, the psychologists really spent a lot of time on this.
Well, as someone who has a BA in psychology, we could have skipped this. Also, a BA in psychology is basically like saying, I went to first grade. There's not really anything impressive about it. You can't do anything with it.
I noticed a sign at one of the stores in Salem that sold, and this is important for you all to catalog, postcards that had been painted, books that had been written, pewter sculptures that had been sculpted, a Zippo lighter that said heritage, not hate, that someone made, and that, grown, and then a sign that said, I have a liberal arts degree. Would you like fries with that? And I'm like, someone knows art enough to make that sign. The whole fucking store, I was like, interesting juxtaposition that you have a bunch of books and you're like, liberal arts degrees are stupid. And I'm like, who do you think wrote the books? Very strange.
Also, when a place has a legend associated with it.
We're more on our guard in settings with ambiguous or sordid pasts.
The same goes for places associated with death, which prime us with our own thoughts of death and put us on high alert. A centuries-old building that was used as a speakeasy while simultaneously housing dead bodies falls squarely in all three of these categories. It's a trifecta of spooky places.
Got him.
Sinisterhood will be right back. Most of you have probably heard us sing the praises of Prose, the world's most personalized hair care. And for those that haven't, we want to tell you about the incredible results we've been seeing since using your products. Paris took our photo at a dinner we were hosting recently, and afterwards he goes, your hair is so shiny in these pictures. Said, I know why. My Prose shampoo.
That's my Prose, baby. Prose knows there is more to you than just your hair type. They've given over 1 million consultations with their in-depth hair quiz, which is how we both got started. By analyzing over 85 personal factors, Prose determines a unique blend of ingredients to treat your exact concerns. Where we live matters, our zip code, our eating habits, how much stuff we've had done to our hair, our exercise level, all of that they took into consideration and then produced a lovely shampoo and conditioner based on that.
With your name on it. That feels like it's for you. There's also the review and refine feature with Prose. It lets me tweak my formula for any reason, like a change of address, hair color, or diet. And we talked about just trying new scents. Like you like one scent, try another one, switch back. It's easy.
As a carbon neutral certified B Corp, Prose is also an industry leader in clean and responsible beauty. All their ingredients are sustainably sourced, ethically gathered, and cruelty-free. They're also the first custom beauty brand to go carbon neutral.
If you're not 100% positive Prose is the best hair care you've had, they'll take the products back, no questions asked.
Prose is the healthy hair regimen with your name all over it. Take your free in-depth hair consultation and get 15% off your first order today. Go to prose.com/creepy.
That's prose.com/creepy for your free in-depth hair consultation and 15% off.
As spooky as the place's past, Bunghole Liquors lives on to this day. The storefront is still located at 204 Derby Street and operates as a liquor store. Knowing just exactly what they've got in the name, the store offers merchandise reading,
Bunghole is not a dirty word. Bunghole Liquors, we're not number one, but 2 T's, we're right up there.
and simply,
I got it in the bunghole.
My biggest regret is that we did not get a T-shirt when we were there. It was a very...
You can order them online.
I know. It was an in and out thing because we'd been shopping all day. That's
what the reviews say.
And we had to get on the road, but you know my rule. If I order it online while I'm still in that place, it counts as me getting it there.
Technically, it's a souvenir.
Technically it's a souvenir,
Still
and
works.
I just didn't order some random thing.
There you go.
You can also buy beer, wine, and liquor, but the age of the building makes space an issue. Visitor reviews sum it up perfectly.
Small little shop, but the name makes you want to go in. Quick in and out, no issues.
And
I love Bunghole.
it is a very small store with 2 of us in there. It was crowded.
Yeah. It seemed pretty crowded. We bought some cider. I bought some Trader Giles brand rum punch in a can.
Mm-hmm. The can was very cool. And then the other cider was called Magic Mood or something.
Something like that.
We got it just because it said magic on it. And then we didn't like it.
Wasn't magical.
I don't know where that is.
I think it's in the hotel refrige.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. Did we have... Yep. Okay. I can't remember where we've been because it all blurs together. And I was trying to think, did we buy that and then go back to the Salem hotel? But we didn't. We took it with us. So it is in the fridge.
It made it to Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had a good time. All around good time in Salem. Did we do anything else there?
Oh, it was a great time.
The bears mentioning?
Oh, what did we had a lot of shopping, bought a lot of stuff, bought a lot of witchy stuff. There was a wonderful store that had items that you got some stuff to cast spells with and like do more practicing in magic and witchcraft.
Oh, Witch House.
That's right. No,
House
and the
Witch.
other place with House Witch was great, and they were very kind when we had a disaster over quarters because there's a machine that you can get a mystery crystal. And I said to Leanne, "You got $1?" And she said, "Okay." And she gave me $1, and then I needed quarters, and the lady gave me quarters. And then everyone's like, "Well, I want a mystery crystal. So do I. Why didn't you get me one?" I said, "I just asked for $1. I didn't say what it was for." Anyway. It was
lying
chaos.
by omission.
We had I wouldn't call it lying. I just said, "Do you have $1?" If you would have said, "What was it
Fun
for?"
stuff
I
by
would have said
omission.
it. It was great. Everybody got their crystals.
In the
but the
end.
other place, I'm not talking about that one. The one that you got the cornhusk dolls and things at.
Oh, yeah. Omen?
They had a wonderful thing in the back where you can leave notes to your loved ones. And we both
an
were able
altar.
to leave notes. I left a note to my dad that said, "Dear Dad, Tammy said you're always with me. I hope that means you were there when she was talking, because oh my God, LOL." Love, Heather. So hopefully you got the message.
I also left a note to my dad, and I said, "I'm always looking for signs you're with me, and my eyes and heart are open." And then I immediately checked out, and my total was 6444. And she was like, "Oh, you have angel numbers." And I was like, "What are angel numbers?" And she said, "Anytime it's the same number consecutively 3 times." So I was like, interesting that just happened.
Bam.
Also, that shows how many crystals I bought at Omen.
And spell
It
stuff.
was that much, but yeah, and a bunch of spell stuff. So yeah, it was a great time. We've had a great time here.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Boston's been great to us. Bostonia, you got a really good
Oh
Bloody
my
Mary.
God, we ate there
Finally.
twice.
Yes, we did.
I don't know if you've had the tater tot poutines at Bostonia, but good God. And the skillet of mashed potatoes. Holy shit.
Man.
Yeah, it was good. Real good both times.
Yeah, it was good. We've had a good time.
Yeah, well, so what do we think about the old bunghole?
Well, even the gentleman that you were talking about that he said, more stuff happens where my parents, he did say, he was like, the basement though, man, we get so much on the camera. We get a lot of orbs on the camera. We see shadows on the camera. And that seems to be the general consensus, is that like one or two things can happen in the store. And it may be that psychology of like an eerie feeling, like the guy that's only worked there a few months. You know, if you have that reputation when you start your job there, you're like, oh shit, was that it? Oh, was that my coworker? Was that a person? But I think when you have that space where it was actually bodies, I won't say they were desecrated, but maybe not like super respected. If you're like, chuck the old stiff over and give me a lick, like, you know, pour me some.
Or that's like the coolest way to just have your body out and about, is everybody's partying around you, having a good time.
The ghosts are like, why are you guys not drinking down here anymore? It's all a bunch of fucking boxes. But I think that seems to be the place that it's more concentrated in. It's also the place that only employees are allowed to go in. So I know there's at least one of you in the audience willing to apply to work there, to get infiltrate the bunghole, get down inside of it, take videos and photos, and send them to us.
We need an insider bunghole job, absolutely. Is what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if it had a spooky vibe because it was like the size of a closet, but it was still very fun. And there's definitely an energy about Salem that you just feel, especially like on the nighttime tour. I was like, you just feel something here. Not bad. It was very good, but like just kind of a thing,
like a nice vibe. I did do the voice where the ovulus, and the only word that came up, no bacon, which we almost always get bacon for some reason. This one, the only word that came up with was remove, which maybe was yourself from the store because you have been lingering here very long. But yeah, so the spirits were saying remove.
Well, yeah. That was our time at the old bunghole, and that is the episode for tonight. But if you've been to a live show, you know that the show is not over. Or if you've listened to a live show. Round of applause if you're one of our beloved Patreon members.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. First of all, thank you so much. But if you are on Patreon, we do a little bit called Judge Christie, where we take grievances and then we rule on them. I have my gavel. Oh, by the way, this is Baby. We've spoken of Baby many times recently. And then we have yet to name our two friends. It's just Baby and the Girls. This is a much better movie already than Chompy and the Girls. It's Baby and the Girls. But yeah, so what we'll ask for in a minute is for you to yell out, I have a grievance, and then someone will bring you a microphone. The only rule is no bummers.
Yeah.
And just a few sentences of what your grievance is. It can be with somebody here, with somebody not here, with just society. If we need more information, we'll pull it out of you, but we like to keep them kind of short and sweet so we can get to as many as possible. And Heather likes to get us started with one of her own so everybody can get the wheels turning.
So I don't think it's a shocker. I wear a lot of T-shirts, usually like vintage stuff. I have like a T-shirt with my grandpa's. I have stuff from places I've been, shows I like. I see some folks in our Donna Laser shirts. Shout out.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I have one of those too. But the problem is I have kind of too many that I've even like Marie Kondo'd. I've like rolled them up. I tried them going up and down, side to side, whatever. If I'm trying to find something that's not readily accessible, I have to go through it a bit. And then sometimes I just kind of tamp it back in, and it doesn't. And also my dresser is from IKEA, like, oof, boy, child, that was maybe like 10 years ago, nice. 11 years ago. And it has been moved. It's been moved like 6 times, so it doesn't love to close. So I just leave my drawers open.
Your drawers?
Yeah, like the drawers on the dresser drawers. I just leave it open.
No.
And I think I'm allowed to do that. No. And Paris tends to just be like, were you not finished? Did you mean to close that drawer? He's never like mean about it or like, some people don't close their drawers. He'll be like, and I'm like, nah, it's not gonna happen, buddy. Good luck.
How open are they? Do you have to like shimmy around it? You couldn't just like walk in front of the dresser because you're gonna bang your leg?
Oh, my dresser, there's nothing around it. There's a free about a
Well, it
4
can't
to
be because
6
you got to
feet.
have your drawers out, so you have a perimeter.
From where the dresser is against a wall to the foot of the bed is probably 6 or 7 feet. So
Okay.
it's not like obtrusive.
Okay.
I could do yoga there. It's like enough space for me to put a yoga mat and stretch.
Okay.
So it's like plenty of room.
How
Drawers
far open are the drawers? Full open or like an inch?
We're going to say between 3 and 6 inches at a time.
And it's because you can't physically close them?
Yeah, and it's wonky on the, on the track. It's a little wonky on the track, so it's kind of like,
We got some of those, yeah. Then once you do it, you're like, I'm not taking this thing apart.
No, and
I'll
it's like-
die first before I take this whole thing apart.
I was like,
You
I'll
just
never
stay
see those
wonky.
shirts again. If it does close, it just gets jammed in there. I'm like,
Oh yeah, then you can't get it open. Then you got to go in through the bottom, and
so-
pop up the thing. And we've all done that.
I don't see it as a problem not closing my dresser drawer. He isn't, again, he's not like mad about it, but I can tell as a person who is much tidier and likes things in their place, it is irksome.
So what is your grievance?
I don't think I should have to close them because it's on my side of the dresser.
So your grievance is you don't think he should have to tell you? To close them?
I wish that he wouldn't make any remarks about it, and I think he's incorrect. He's allowed to close his drawers if he wants. I can get to things faster.
I love you. I am going to have to rule in favor of Paris.
Time.
For the following reasons. One, the drawers wouldn't close if they weren't supposed to close. So therefore, they're meant to be closed when not in use. Otherwise, they would just stay. That's how it would be designed. It's just
Like it'd be a
it's like a
bucket.
basket.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a drawer, people like a drawer because you can close it and you don't have to see everything inside of it.
Does it change your answer if there's glass on the outside?
Of the drawers?
Yeah, albeit a little bit frosted, but you can see in even if it's closed, it's glass. This is true.
This
You can look
changes
it up.
it does not change my answer that it should be closed. It does, however, change my belief that you should organize them even more if you can see into them. Because that is, what are you Googling?
Trying to find a picture of it.
Oh. Because that is, that's like if you, in your kitchen, if you've got like glass cabinets, you can't just throw all your like shit up there. You got to have it looking nice.
It is the shorter version of this one.
Is that just all plastic?
No, it's glass. It's like dangerously real glass.
Oh.
I like that IKEA's like, we're gonna put real glass in. The rest of it's cardboard. And if you sneeze on
It
it,
all has to hold together.
it's a 3 little pig situation. It's going kaput. You're hosed, and there's broken glass everywhere. There's also a big ass thick piece of glass on top of it, which is a bitch to move. This is just turned into me talking.
You need
about
a new dresser, is what it sounds like.
That is the perfect response.
I think you need a new dresser, but with this new dresser, I challenge you
Oh, it's this
to take. Yep.
So he's left side, I'm right side.
I think, regardless of sides, you have it's your bedroom is your sanctuary and where you should feel like calm. And I say this, and our bedroom looks like a bomb went off. It's ridiculous, but I wish it didn't. And I keep my drawers closed because all the shit inside is a mess. So at least you don't have to see it with the drawers closed. I say get a new dresser, but when you do that, you have to like get rid of a lot of your t-shirts.
I've
So
been
there's
getting rid
no
of
problem in shutting it.
I went and I cleaned out the closet. There were skirts I had since high school, and I'm 35. And I was just like, and so I was like, man, maybe
I'll wear this again.
5 or 10 years ago, I was like, it'll come back.
And now it probably has.
Some kid at a thrift store is like, fuck yeah, this is from Rue 21 in 2001. I'm like, yeah, kid, you're welcome. You're the coolest kid in your vintage Rue 21 skirt.
I think
Fine.
you get a bigger dresser, but keep them closed because you gotta, when you're in a shared space, it's the
Fair.
right thing and respectful thing to do to be tidy. Now, if you both were messy, then it doesn't matter.
Different areas. We're different. It's funny because we have different symptoms of our different ADHD in different areas.
Where's he messy?
He's more messy in nowhere. It's just me. It's just me. No, he does leave his socks everywhere. Like, there'll just be socks just everywhere. just
He
like
just randomly takes his socks
there'll
off.
just be like a sock in the middle of the living room. I don't know if the dog gets a hold of them and like runs off with them, but yeah, there'll be, or just a pair of shoes like in the hall. Like you're walking down the hall and you're like, I don't wear these shoes anymore, and you just keep going. I'm like, all right, I just pick them up. I don't care.
Well, yeah, bigger dresser or different dresser.
I think we need a different dresser.
But you got to Marie Kondo some more on when you get it.
I will do that. Thank you, Your
Final
Honor.
ruling.
I accept that ruling.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you accept it, but even if you didn't,
Doesn't matter.
my rulings are final. You can't appeal them, and my jurisdiction is global.
Unlimited.
So if you have a grievance, please shout out, I have a grievance.
God. Oh, God. I say start here. I made eye contact, so I can't take it back now. And what I tell you earlier, I'm going to stop.
We'll get to
everybody. But if we have the mic, do we have the mic?
We won't get to everybody. We'll get to a lot of people.
Our friend is going to come bring the mic to you, and then we'll
Here comes
get
the
to
mic.
everybody.
Raise your hand
Right,
up.
we're going here in the front row.
Here we go. Good around that big ass pillar.
Thank you.
Like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tell us your name and pronouns, please.
Does it work? Hello?
Oh, is it on?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. My name is Tori.
Tori.
Robustly.
She, they, whatever.
Okay.
I really identify with baby.
Nice.
That's my gender.
We all do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I recently moved in with my girlfriend of almost 5
You?
years.
Is this you?
Hey.
Congratulations.
Hey,
It's great. We love each other. We have 4 cats. We're very happy.
Aw.
Happy.
She has a collection.
Speaking to the mic a little
Give
bit
me a
more
little bit
so
more
everyone
mic.
can hear you.
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I hear it. She has a collection,
Uh-oh.
a curated collection of terrifying baby dolls.
Oh,
No.
no.
Worse.
Their antiques makes it worse. Don't say that.
They're antiques. They're haunted as fuck.
Yes, for sure.
Tori right.
They're
Tori right.
cursed.
She'd one of them is on a spike. You take it off and there's a spike
Christ
under it.
almighty.
It's what it uses to defend itself and
Yeah,
murder
well-
people.
That's where she kept the cash for a while.
It's actually really smart.
Yeah, well,
Because if
okay,
they try to
well,
put their hand in it,
let me
stab
tell you something. One of them has a piece of its head that comes off. It's okay. So here's the thing. She'd like to put them in the family room, on the mantle,
Where they be staring back at you while you're
where
watching
they
TV?
would be staring at you.
Eyes
Where the-
following you all the
Where
time.
the TV is, where
You're trying to watch a show and
I'm-
you've got this haunted doll staring at you.
I'm trying to hang out. I come home from work. I go to work at 4:30 in the morning. I'm trying to come home and relax, and I have haunted.
You're not
ass
trying to get
dolls.
cursed
I'm
after
not
a
trying
long
to
day
get
at work.
cursed.
No.
I'm not trying to get possessed.
No.
You have to be at work at 4:30.
I have to be at work at 5:30. I clock in at 5:30. I wake up at 4:30.
You wake up at 4:30. That's
So,
ghosty
and-
time, though, with the
listen-
cursed dolls.
Listen, if God forbid I wake up and those fucking dolls are walking around.
They will be.
And they will be.
Or
One
they'll
day.
just be a little bit closer every time you wake up.
And then what do I do?
No.
And
burn.
then what do I do?
You-
I move out? No.
It's too late for you at that point.
You get a
I-
really solid renter's insurance policy, you burn the whole place down.
I think so. I get the cats out.
Yeah,
so
save
is your
the cats.
grievance, should she be allowed to leave these in the
Yeah, the
family room?
Yeah.
No. You should
Yeah.
should, one,
Yeah,
get
what
rid
the-
of all of them.
what
Burn
the-
them, drown them. Go put them in a bag with a bunch of boulders and throw it to the bottom
throw 'em
of
in the river.
the
Throw 'em in the
harbor.
river.
You get a dresser and you lay them face up in the dresser. We learned today you're supposed to close the drawers to a dresser.
Oh,
okay.
fuck- Yeah,
Wow.
whatever. Fuck that.
So-
I'm with you.
Closed.
I don't
for
think a
you.
drawers. You can't. Drawers can be opened. You need
Right.
it. You
By
gotta
the
lock it.
dolls.
It needs to be in a place
By
that
the
can't
dolls.
get out.
But you wrap.
They have hands.
Well, but you close the drawers. But then when the girlfriend wants to look at them, you can open the drawers and you can look down at them, and it's nice. It's like a little display case.
As they get rid of them,
What? Yeah. What if they
Also that.
open the drawers with their
They
little
will.
tiny baby hands?
they will. You got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
How many are there?
At least 5.
Okay, that's less than I was imagining, so that's good.
Speak for yourself.
They go with my wet specimen collection.
Your what?
Specimen
Wait.
collection.
Can
Yeah.
you? It goes with your what collection?
My wet specimen collection.
Wet?
Yeah.
What is a wet specimen?
Like,
Does everyone know what this is but me? And I'm like the uncool kid at school right now.
We
they're
see
like
some. We have
bones
some
and things.
Repeat what you said.
Like like preserved animals and like oddities and bones.
Okay, I
Okay,
don't
the
boo
thing says keeping it creepy.
taxidermy.
I'm keeping it creepy.
Also,
Yes.
I have a taxidermy mouse that I myself taxidermied,
It's
but they're dead.
what
So
taxidermy-
I'm not here to collection shame.
see.
So what's in your what all are your specimens?
I have an octopus tentacle.
Fuck yeah, man! Really?
See? Yes. An octopus tentacle. This is sad. I have a baby bunny. Yeah,
But you
and-
didn't go out and hunt it,
No.
and get a hold of
No,
it,
no,
and
no,
drown
no.
it. Or
Where are
something?
these things kept? Just like on a bookshelf or in a case?
Right now they're in a moving box.
Because they're moving?
Because I'm not allowed to keep them in the family room.
There's nowhere else to keep. You need
Where
to
would
study.
you place
These things-
them in the family room? Are they? I don't understand. Is this just like a petrified
originally-
baby bunny?
Originally, yes, and originally I wanted them on the mantle, and it's a no-go. And I'm gonna keep pushing though.
You know what? This is out of my hands. I feel like
You've been together 5 years.
we
You've been
started
together
off
5
with
years?
dolls.
5
We
years?
ventured into something that's above my purview.
How long have you had the dolls, and how long have you had the wet specimens?
I'm stuck on the fact they're called wet specimens. I can't get past that.
I think started collecting after we got together, so I can't even defend that.
But also, this isn't like it started 5 years in. You could have broke up
Right.
way long ago.
That's true.
See,
Right.
How about okay, you got 5 dolls and how many of these wet specimens?
She has. You have 5?
Uh-oh. Okay, here's what I think. I think you pick your favorite 3 of each,
Yes.
and then you arrange those however.
Listen, she has. Yeah, it's a fresh move in, so we're still. There's
Oh, good. There's
everywhere.
hope.
Listen, she has a space for an office. I think.
Oh, okay.
Study. Put it in
Yes.
study.
Okay, I will build her a shelf.
Oh,
I will
that's nice.
Love.
You can
I
have a
have
wet
to do.
specimen shelf.
Yeah, and I think
that's
they
very
should-
nice.
I
You
think
put
they
it-
should live there.
You know, like a real thick metal lock on the outside of the
Yes.
door.
Annabelle
when,
style.
When
Yes.
you're done
Like-
at the end of the day, you lock it in. You know them dolls aren't getting out.
So I don't get possessed.
Yeah,
Done and done.
I think that's
you know.
I think that's good. It's like what we do with Ella. We have to hide some things
I think
because
it's-
she can't handle it.
I think
So
it's fair.
I think that's fair. You get a shelf built. Let's do 2 shelves.
One for
The
each.
haunted doll shelf, wet specimen shelf, and yes,
May I
please,
request
bailiff.
that you send me photographs of your wet specimens?
Absolutely,
Thank you so
100%.
much.
Nice.
HeatherVTW@gmail.com. Don't put them in the show account. She probably don't want to look at them.
I want to
You
look.
do? Okay,
Yeah, send it to the
Sinisterhood
show.
@gmail.com.
I want to look.
What's
I got
that?
some
I didn't
questions.
know. I didn't know if
I
you
got
did
you.
or not.
I got you.
All right. Final ruling. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I got some questions about wet specimens.
We got answers.
Who else has a grievance? Oh, you look. I'm googling wet specimens.
Okay, we're
So
looking
you
up wet
pick who-
specimens. Oh, I made eye contact again. You have to our counter, and then we got you. I'm sorry, y'all. Everybody else, I want to call on everybody.
I have to say it was 72 bungles.
It was 72 bungholes. Did you get
72.
Man,
63, but I didn't do the
I like that. I like
Wow.
that. Thank you. 72.
Thank you,
my
everyone
God.
that kept count.
Do you want to? Are you looking at the wet specimen? Yeah. Have you never been to the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia?
What did you? What
Shout
word
out.
did you say?
The Mutter, the Mutter Museum.
Oh no, I have not.
Elise and I took. It's like 98% wet specimens.
Okay, now this makes sense. They're
It's a
kept
great
in jars with some kind of liquid.
Yeah.
Okay, so they stay moist, I suppose.
Wet, some would say.
They should call them moist specimens. Yeah. All right, I've seen what I need
you.
to see.
Thank you for hanging
and
out.
now that makes more sense. And who do we have? Hi. What's your
Hi.
name and pronouns?
My name's Erin. she,
Hi, Erin.
What's up?
her. So mine's a much less spooky situation. But my grievance is I've been dating my boyfriend for 2 years. Recently moved in. Usually we go over to his place every weekend, and we go to like a local liquor store. He's been living there for about 6 years. So usually we go in together. The lady like is obsessed with him, which is great because I'm like, oh my God, maybe you can get a deal. He never gets a deal, but it's fine. But every time I'm in there with him, she like kind of ignores me. And then whenever I'm in there by myself, she always IDs me and like just pretends I don't exist. It's like, ma'am, you literally saw me 5 days ago. I'm here like it sounds like I'm alcoholic, but like I'm here all the time.
You're a
I
regular.
know-
She should
right.
know you. Yeah.
And like I'm not changing my hair drastically all the time. Like, ma'am, I am blonde. I am the same. Nothing's changed.
No, she wants to fuck your boyfriend.
No,
She-
high
she's
key,
trying to
right?
fuck him.
High
And
key.
now she knows your name and address. So.
Yeah. And
and
so-
maybe your schedule.
right.
Give me
Depending
your
on when
ID.
you
I'm
come
gonna
in.
fight you.
Yeah. So like, what do I do? I'm like, do I make my presence more like nothing's gonna happen. She's like literally invited him over to her house. Like, this is the closing time. You should have some
Bold.
beers with me. And he goes, I'm good, thanks, bye.
Bold.
No. So like, what? How do I make this less weird? Because I now live at that liquor store.
Yeah.
So now this
you
is
live
my-
at the liquor
no,
store?
No. I mean, like that's now where I live.
It's your new haunt.
So like now that's like not just
You don't want to find a new place.
I
It's
don't-
convenient.
It's convenient. I want her to be more comfortable around me, but I also want to be more comfortable around her. Like, how do I break this awkward ice of like, sorry, my boyfriend's. It's not.
I think it is only awkward if you want it to be awkward. Like
Okay.
if you're just like, yeah, this is my man.
Yeah.
Fucking deal with it. He's not coming home with you for beers after your shift's over.
Does he say like, "Oh, I'm getting these are for me and these are for my girlfriend"? Like, or y'all are in there together, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, honey,
like
would
half
you
the time
like-"
we're there together, and
And
he's
it's
like,
very
"Oh, what do you-
obvious.
what do you want for tonight? Like, and I was like,
Baby.
oh, I'll have this one. Like, thank you.
Does she know that you're lovers?
Oh, like I mean. I mean, we're not like making out in the
Well,
aisles or
maybe you
anything,
should.
but,
Problem
like,
solved.
Maybe she's like, this could be his sister, and you need to put a stop to that. And
no, she
clear up
knows
and-
my ID. We have different last names.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or like,
Has she ever seen you interact in a romantic way?
hold hands?
I am sure.
First base, second base,
Third?
third base, fourth base,
Yeah,
eighth base.
I'm doing blowies in the back aisle.
I would say so. Paris has a Starbucks girlfriend.
Yeah, this is what reminded me of this.
Paris has a Starbucks girlfriend that every time he would go to Starbucks, she would draw like kitties on his cup and like hearts, and like would be like, oh my God, how are you? It's so good to see you. Like he was like, she's totally platonic. I'm like, that bitch trying to fuck you. I was like, I'm going to that Starbucks and we're going at it. She's like so nice, and I don't.
I want my
that she was-
fucking egg bites.
She never was like, do you want to take some of this cold brew back to my place? She never said that. So that's a bit of a different. I think that's more overt. What
That
he
is very
did,
overt.
because I was like, I think she's hitting on you. And after we got married, it was a lot easier because he reaches for his Starbucks with his left hand, so he has his ring
Heather
now
demanded it.
on his
She's
left
like, you
hand.
better start picking up those drinks with your left hand.
I said, you need to be like, thanks, this one's for me and this one is for my wife. Still hasn't done it, no. So maybe if he would just like mention it, I would say a few times or whatever.
What if you wore, next time you go in,
T-shirt.
Yes, so he's got to
His
wear
and
a
hers.
shirt that says boyfriend, and then you wear a shirt that says I'm with my boyfriend, and then there's an arrow
like one
pointing
of
next
those like
to it.
arrow tees, like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get, like
yeah.
Disney.
So there's
kind of
no
thing, like,
question
I'm with
about
him.
it. And then you tongue kiss while she's checking you out.
Add some
So
mums.
there's no question that
Sell
y'all
it.
are a couple.
And then look at her and go, we're not related. Just so she knows, you gotta
Just
say
in
it.
You
case
gotta
never
say it.
know. You never know.
And then if she still keeps it up, fuck her. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you're convinced if you're good in your relationship, then you don't have to worry about it,
Yeah.
and just be like, man, I got a hot man that everybody's trying to get with.
It's great. It's a good
Or
feeling.
she's just drunk all the time, has no boundaries, or maybe he goes over there one night, nothing happens, but maybe then you start getting like 30% off, and you're like, this isn't that bad of a deal.
You're like, babe, take her out for a dinner. That's it. No, above the clothes only. Ask her
Show her
how
a
much
good
she would
time.
trade. Yeah, show her a good time. How much would she trade? No, I think that's the answer is a matching T-shirt.
Matching t-shirts,
it.
tongue kiss.
Eye contact, we're not related.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Final ruling.
Thank you.
Perfect.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
We will come back to this side, but I think we should. There was some over here.
Yeah, we got some over
Go,
here.
got one in the front too. I've seen these
she's
two in the
been
row.
yelling for a while.
Christy, we'll come
And
back.
then we'll come to the front.
I know. Geez, stop it. I'm
White
gonna,
shirt in the back there.
I keep making
Close your
eye
eyes when you look out at the audience.
I need sunglasses.
Yeah, it's constant sunglasses. Hello. What's your
Hi.
name and pronouns?
My name is Sophie. My pronouns are she, her.
Sophie?
Yes.
What's up?
Hi, Sophie.
Hi. So my grievance is that my sister didn't get us VIP tickets so that I could tell.
Is that her sitting next to you?
Yes.
With her head hung in shame?
Absolutely.
Call the police.
She deserves it. Because we're from Texas.
What? Oh, nice.
And the
what part?
reason South Texas.
Nice.
So,
Like what city?
McAllen.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
I have a friend that he's
no, it's just like this happy parrot. Nice. Cool. Oh, fun.
Okay, but the reason that I wanted the VIP tickets is because I wanted to tell Heather that I too am obsessed with Selena.
Fuck yeah.
Like from my entire life. And when I was 6 years old, my parents had to like gently let me know that she was dead.
When you find that out, dude.
It was horrible.
It's like the floor
I
comes
cried
out from
for
under
2
you.
weeks.
Yes.
Quite literally.
Yes.
Been
there.
That's how did you feel when you found out?
Crushing. I remember distinctly in my room on the ground watching it on television, and I was just sobbing uncontrollably.
Watching
I was
the
watching
news?
it was like a VH1, like not a documentary, but like some special on it or
Behind the
whatever.
music type
and
thing?
I was.
When was she killed?
1994.
96.
96?
Oh, that's right.
96.
right.
Because
I was at the mall.
We remember.
This is the
the
sister.
sister
mall.
The sister.
remembers.
Who was at the mall? Oh,
sister.
you were at the mall and
Taking the
found
mic.
out?
I was at the mall. It was
I was unfamiliar with Selena, but I was in high school when she passed, and I remember a bunch of kids in my high school had written in shoe polish "R.I.P. Selena" on their cars, and I was like, "Did somebody die?" And they were like, "No, you idiot! She's a famous
Reina.
musician," and that was how I was first introduced into Selena.
Man, I was obsessed. I sang in Spanish all the time.
That's very
wore
impressive.
T-shirts. Went to the movie. Cried. Accidentally wiped my face with the paper towel that the pickle we had snuck in was wrapped in. Cried harder, much harder.
Oh,
Yeah. We always had.
so is your grievance like all of us that Selena was taken from
Yeah,
us
well-
too soon?
Yeah. Yes. And
That's
also
mine.
Well-
the VIP tickets. I mean, it's both of them.
Well, yeah,
Two
that
for one.
you got to take up with your sister.
Trust me.
I think we should do a blanket ruling that if your sibling gets you tickets, they have to get you VIP
Yeah,
tickets.
that's it. Otherwise, you're banned from Thanksgiving. banned from
Otherwise,
Christmas.
you're no longer siblings, and then you can make out with each other.
Hey, the liquor store. All right.
Okay, right here. Yes, you. I'm making eye contact with you.
made eye contact.
You've been yelling for a while. Yelling sounds aggressive. No one's yelling.
Just calling out in a way
Calling
that
out in a way
for.
that you would like us to call on you. Hello, what is your name?
Hello, Chelsea.
Chelsea?
She, her.
Hello.
Hi, Chelsea.
I have a food-related grievance tonight.
Okay.
It's not as bad as the slugs, though, so don't worry.
Dude.
If you're wondering what Chelsea's talking about, it's a recent, what was it, Am I the Asshole?
It might have been, it was on one of our Patreon segments. I can't remember which one
There
it
was
was.
a very traumatic story about some slugs.
Extremely. We had a Friendsgiving celebration, and we invited a lot of people to come by, and it was potluck. And so at the end of the night, I'm packing up leftovers and sending people out the door with all this extra food. And I notice there's a whole pie untouched. And I go to my friend Greg, and I say, Greg, won't you take this whole pie home with you that nobody has cut into? And he's like, are you fucking crazy? I'm not eating that pie. And I was like, what? What's wrong with this pie? So keep in mind, I'm hosting this event, so I'm in the kitchen like the entire time while everybody else is having fun. And so I missed the part where the guy who brought this pie arrived and is like proudly announcing that he found it on the side of the road.
A road pie.
A road pie, that's what we call it. The road pie incident.
A roadside pie.
The road pie incident. And so, like, I come to find out that's the only pie no one cut into because this man didn't even have the decency to be ashamed that he brought a pie from the side of the road.
Was it in a wrapping?
Yeah, but still, like...
No, I'm not saying that makes it any better. I just wanted to picture what was happening in my head. What kind of pie was it?
I don't know, we didn't cut into it. We were just...
Apple?
Apple? Okay. Yeah, it was apple.
A frozen apple pie.
Okay, this man picked up a defrosted...
Oh, he did bake it.
No, she just brought it in the fucking box from the side of the road. Yes, it was still in the box. when
So it
I
was a
offered to
raw-
Greg.
So he also gave you homework. He showed up with something you had to bake?
Yes.
This is like Was it? Who was it at your?
One of my family member brought just a box of macaroni and cheese. Like 3 hours after the dinner had started, and it's like, we're on to desserts, and it's like, well, I guess we'll have it for next time.
Yeah,
Thanks.
This guy also brought mac and cheese. It's funny you say that.
Was it made?
It was like pasta that he dumped shredded cheese into. I was so embarrassed people would think
It's fucking
I made
rude.
it.
No. Yeah, that's where you gotta go. That's thank you. We gotta thank Brad for bringing this, right, Brad? Brad made this. Thanks. My question, well, I guess not question, but I'd like to make a statement that at least he wasn't ashamed, and at least he told you it was from the road.
That's true.
Because it could have been worse that he could have just been like, I brought this apple pie. Enjoy.
Who's not ashamed of, like, who would
Brad.
keep that a secret? Fucking Brad.
Dude,
Fucking
this guy
Brad,
is-
man. I wouldn't do that, but I'm glad that he did disclose
For sure.
that it was found on the side of the road. To be a fly flying around Brad's car when he saw that on the side of the road and was like,
Righteous.
"Arr!" and just pulled over. You think it was just one boxed pie on the side of the
like-
road?
He
Was
said
it?
there
Hang
were a
on a
bunch.
minute.
There were several.
Several pies.
He goes, I suspect they fell off a truck or something. is
Or
what he said.
something.
Or something.
Or
Somebody was
something.
like, nah, throw it.
So
This was
but
funky.
he only brought one,
Just one.
which means the rest were at his house.
Out on it.
In a trunk or something, yeah. He
Yeah,
kept 'em.
he's gonna eat them for sure.
Yeah, that's fucking. Thank
So
God.
what is your grievance?
So essentially, we've like excommunicated him from the friends group.
This took a turn I
some-
was not expecting. That's harsh.
Okay, so to be honest, like Brad was already like on thin ice.
Oh, and then he brought a pie,
Shocking.
roadside pie.
It's sort of like the pie that broke the camel's back.
Somehow, I'm very not shocked that he. And I would have been more shocked had he gone 0 to street pie like that fast.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. It was like a slow climb to
Yes,
trashdom
yes, exactly.
until he's the king of Trash Mountain. So he was out anyway, on his way.
He was already on his way out, and so we just like cut him off completely. We RSVP'd no to his wedding.
Damn. You know what you should do? You should send him a boxed pie as a wedding gift. Be like, you know what this is about, Brad.
Yeah.
Well,
you
yeah,
write
but-
happy trails.
Some people say like it's too mean that we just cut him off, but I kind of was like, I'm fucking done.
Well,
with
it would be
pie.
too mean if it was just the pie. But if it was
Cumulative.
a lot of things leading up to the pie, then, you know, I mean, I don't know what all the other stuff it was it all food stuff?
No,
Did he just bring you like shoot up food?
a flaky like bad friend in general. We don't have time to get into it, but
A flaky what?
bad friend.
Oh, well then yeah. I mean, then I think it was the pie that broke the camel's back. Yeah. You
He
know?
owed you a good dessert if he wanted to really maintain the friendship. It's Friendsgiving. Bring something nice to Friendsgiving, even if you're not going to cook it. At least go out of your way to get like a nice pie from a nice shop, so it's
That
good.
stayed on the truck.
Say it again.
Stayed on the
That
truck.
stayed on the truck. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It didn't make it off.
You don't know
so,
how
yeah.
long those have been on the side of the road.
The pie is a metaphor for your friendship. It was rotten and discarded, and you know what? He still was like, nah. And I think you went no to the pie and no to you, Brad. And I think you show that you had boundaries and tell your other friends to just want more for themselves.
Damn. Nice. Cut it off.
Let's do here. And
He's
then we have
yelled
to do-
several
and then
times.
We have one
too.
here, too.
And then up here. Okay.
our faithful counter.
Both hands up, like a child riding a roller coaster, or an adult.
Exactly.
I guess anybody rides
Hi,
roller
my name is
coasters
James.
like that. James?
Yes, he,
Nice
him.
to meet you.
I share a last name with your husband's, FYI.
Oh, look at that. James Brown?
You got that right.
And a famous musician.
You got that right. I feel
But I
good.
like that you went our husbands first.
Yes.
Then James Brown.
Yeah, so my grievance is, so my wife and I, we have a Brita pitcher. Mm-hmm. And I believe that there should always be enough water in it for both of us.
Oh.
And, well, she can explain her reasonings if she likes.
Uh-oh. Defend yourself.
She can
I-
explain herself.
I agree, but some of our water bottles are huge. Like, basically, if the Brita filter is filled almost to capacity, it's like one water bottle.
Uh-huh.
So I feel I shouldn't have to refill it every single time we use water.
So you're going
Like, if
to
I'm
a
just
full pitcher, filling up your water bottle, and then being like, fuck it,
No.
I'm out?
No, usually it's just like a glass of water. But his definition of enough for two people sometimes includes like our two big water bottles. and you just have to be refilling it every single
How
time.
much
you use it.
are you talking? Like you need it 75% full all the time? Where are you at?
It changes depending on what receptacles of liquid we are using.
You've put a lot of thought into this, haven't you?
He's ready.
I have. We've had this argument for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. I don't remember.
7 or 8 years?
A long time.
Followed you around like.
Why
a
don't you just have 2?
We don't have room in our fridge.
His and hers Britas.
You get a new fridge.
That way you're responsible for each one. You can have yours as full as you want it. She has hers.
Well, that's a great idea, actually.
Thank you. That's why I'm up here with my gavel.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. There we go. We solved it.
That's a great solution to
We
our problem.
solved it. You can get fun stickers too to put his and hers on the outside of them, like they're monogram
outside.
towels.
All right,
Or
our counter.
fun-
We got
Yeah, we
a
got-
grievance.
Sinisterhood stickers.
Right here.
Thank you.
I like your hat.
Nice.
You're welcome.
And we have a cool. Yeah, we got
Is that is that something?
It's from the Rugrats.
Oh, Rugrats. My brothers were into Rugrats. I was a little bit older, so I never got into the Rugrats thing, but I do know who they are. Don't worry, guys. I'm hip. You guys know what wet
Is there a
specimens
new
are?
Rugrats? Isn't there a new Rugrats? Yes.
There was a movie not too long ago.
It's a real new, weird
Yeah, don't
animated
fuck with
version
the
of
classics.
Nah, we all right.
Nobody likes
It's not the
that.
classic drawing.
All right, name and pronouns.
Chris and she, they. I'm kind of gender indifferent.
All right.
So I got 2 little ones.
Okay.
Both involving my husband, who's not here because I'm with my best friend.
Nice.
One is I have this weird thing where I kind of tick. It's kind of like Tourette's, but not. And my husband knows that the Friends theme will set it off, and so he will do it just to get me to start clapping.
Because no one told me like.
I'm not gonna sing it because I didn't want to. I didn't want to trigger you.
Yeah.
She just did it. She's been
You
doing
do it
all night.
too?
No, she's just been triggering it for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's being a dick.
you're a masshole, is what you are.
Well, no, we're from Maine.
Oh, okay. We're not from fucking Boston. You fucking idiot. We're from Maine.
There's a difference. We purposely separated ourselves from Mass.
Gotcha. That's how we are with Oklahoma, so we understand.
Get it.
Yeah, he'll
So
do
what
it
is?
just because he thinks it's hilarious, and I'm like, why do you have to keep being a dick about this?
Does it upset you when you do it?
It's irritating because I hate the constant feeling of having to do it.
Yeah. I imagine that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, because if you hold it in, it's a
Yes.
like buildup of almost like electricity.
Yes,
until
it's very
you do it.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Until you do it, and then it ends up being twice as bad.
After
And-
you do it, it's twice as bad?
well, it'll if I hold it in.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So
okay.
he thinks, and so sometimes he does it just because he thinks he's being funny, and I'm just
Oh.
Has he done it like a funeral or a wedding or anywhere where it's like.
like, no, thankfully I haven't taken him to any of those.
That's a good
and
idea.
We've been together for almost 6 years and married for almost 2.
Yeah.
So if he's just like scrolling through at night and he just sees Friends is on TBS, he'll just play it.
No, we'll be walking through the grocery store and he'll do it.
He just sings it at you?
No, he'll just do the clapping motion to
Oh,
make me
man.
do it.
It doesn't
Like,
even take the whole song.
No, it's just the clapping.
Oh.
Wow.
I just watched a couple episodes of Friends the other night. That's just
FYI.
no reason to share that. But what is your grievance? Should he do that?
Yeah.
My answer would be no.
No.
I don't love it.
If you were like, it feels so good when I
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
Friends clap, and he was like, hey, babe, and he did it, that's one thing. But if you're like, please don't do that.
Because sometimes it involves me like hitting him afterwards because I can't control what I'm doing, so he ends
Yeah.
up getting smacked for
You're like,
it.
which is well deserved. It sounds like if it's a playful. I was gonna say play the do the 3 claps on the old tookus and see if. Then he may ask you to do it more. Then I don't know.
Have you asked him to not do this?
Oh yeah, I'm like, stop doing.
Oh yeah, then he's got to stop. What's his name?
Cameron.
Cameron, I want you to listen to me. Please play this for Cameron.
We will.
And what was your name again?
Chris.
Cameron, knock it the fuck off, okay? Chris is just trying to shop in peace. I am not a fan of, like, if Tommy knows something bothers me and he does it on purpose,
Yes.
I don't like that. No, we should all be the best we can for our partners.
Yeah, and like if someone like tickles, if Paris like tickled me and I was like, oh, it hurts, I twist to the side and it hurts my rib, don't do that. He would not continually tickle me, so you're telling me he needs to get on the Tommy and Paris level.
Yes,
I think if you ask,
and
that's not
also, friend. Oh, okay. If you're given permission, that's what I was gonna say. If you're cool with it, then whatever. But if you're literally not cool with it, then I would say Cameron needs to knock it off.
I get excited and I clap.
Which is
Well,
fair.
and we appreciate. Is it all clapping or just the friends clapping?
It's certain rhythmic clapping.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, see. Okay. Heather hates the show Friends, so she does. She doesn't like it. So if
I tolerate it.
Yeah, you tolerate it. Okay, somebody said it was overrated. That's her beef with it too. My point was, if you don't love the show, then like you don't have to worry about it. It would suck if you like really liked it.
Yeah.
But
thankfully I don't watch it.
You're like every time I have to watch it every night. Yeah.
I would definitely skip the intro. Thank you, Netflix for the skip the intro.
We can all skip the intro. We've all seen it, and that song can go away forever, and I think we'll all be fine. So, but Cameron, in the meantime, knock it off, buddy.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Not okay.
You got one more?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I think we have time for one more. Where should we go? Somewhere in the back?
Right there.
All right, Christie has chosen.
I have chosen, hopefully wisely. Don't let us down.
The last grievance.
It's the last one. This better be good.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Catherine, she, her pronouns.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi. So my grievance is simple. I have been dating my girlfriend for about almost 4 years.
Okay.
She refuses to go to sleep if the TV is not fucking on. It has to be on. I hate going to sleep with the TV on. So I think, she's right here too.
Hi.
So I think I should be able to have a few days out of the week where we turn the TV off before we go to sleep.
I think that's reasonable. Now, Heather can probably speak to this because she's a faller or sleeper with the TV on type of person.
Luckily, Paris doesn't super care if the TV's off or on, although he does prefer if the volume's off. They make headphones that are like a nice soft headband, so you can lay and sleep on them, and you can get a phone or a tablet. So I have my iPad from my old job, and I set it up on my side table, and then I just lay there, and I turn the screen lightness way, way, way down, and then I can just play whatever I want, and it's so similar to sleep mode. It'll eventually die after like 3 or 4 episodes. Like not die, but it just goes off. You know what I mean? So then Paris is on the other side, turned the other way. He doesn't even see it. And
is this an option?
I slept in the bed with Leanne last night because this is how things are on the road, y'all. And she had her iPad on her side, turned over with her headphones in. I was on my side with my iPhone.
What were y'all each watching?
She was watching New Girl. I was watching Seinfeld. So it's just the same. It's kind of just like same old brain. I don't want to like pay attention or but that way too. We didn't have to both go.
I was watching Escape Room 2.
She was watching Escape Room 2. So that way you can have your own
I like that
time.
Okay, is that an option?
Is that an option?
The headphones?
Wait, may we speak to your girlfriend?
I just want to say for 4 years, we have always gone to bed with the TV on.
I think you're entitled to some silent going to bed time.
You sound like
I think so. Now, is it like you got with the iPad? You don't seem like you're sold because it's not the TV, the light of the TV, the sound.
Yep.
It is nice to fall asleep with the TV on. What I don't like is then when I wake up later and it's still on and it's very
she never turns
discombobulated.
it off. I have to be responsible for it too, even though I hate it.
Bless the two of you for making it 4 years.
You've made it. It's true love.
That's true love. And you're a beautiful couple, by the way.
Thank you.
I think you deserve some nights without the TV. But I think this iPad situation...
Even a phone would work, too.
Yeah?
Is the phone, if we may, is the phone not going to work?
It can work.
It can work.
Possibly.
Okay, it's not the
saving
same,
marriages
but I
today,
get it
saving
because you got to like
relationships.
hold your phone and stuff. But they make stuff for that. Where we are saving marriages.
You got to get a
this whole thing is
a little
is-
stand and it'll stay.
That little thing's convenient like
So,
that.
yeah,
There you
go
go.
to sleep just like that.
That's what you got to do.
Boom. Solve your problems with gadgets is what I say.
Tonight, You get to go to bed in silence, I say.
Yeah, that's true.
I say you get to go to bed in silence tonight.
You've earned it.
Final ruling.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, before we go, we got to get a picture. Or it's a video. Scream. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. You've been so great. We've had an amazing time in your beautiful state. Thank you so much to Laugh Boston. They've been very good to us, so please be good to them. If you're VIP, just stay seated. They're going to tell you what to do afterwards. If this is the end of the night, thank you again so much for coming. As always, the devil rules the airwaves.
Keep it creepy.
Thank you guys so much.
We love providing Sinisterhood to you at no cost, so if you like what you hear, consider supporting this show by donating to our Patreon. We're a small operation, creating the show for you by researching, writing, recording, and producing it ourselves. Any amount is sincerely appreciated and helps offset the cost of making and hosting the show.
As a thank you, you'll also get some sweet perks like ad-free episodes, a Sinisterhood sticker, membership to our exclusive Patreon Facebook group for those ruling the airwaves and get into it tier, a special shout-out on the show, a monthly bonus minisode. Last month, we did the Bebop and BB TikTok conspiracy, and this month, dude, creepy-ass, internet cryptid, Loab. Prepare yourselves. You also get patron-exclusive video and audio content like that video of Christie trying all the Bloody Marys, as well as Am I the Asshole, relationship advice, Judge Christie, Dear Sinister, true crime headlines, and so much more. And patrons in our Getting Into It tier are also able to vote on a bonus content segment each month that they would like to see us live stream. We do it via Crowdcast, sit next to each other. Leanne comes over. It's a hoot every time.
It's a party.
Every time.
You also have the fun perk of access to our Discord server, where you can connect with other fans in real time and discuss the latest in true crime, share personal ghost stories, or just post adorable pictures of your pets. We hop on occasionally, and like Heather said, we host monthly Q&As where you can ask us all your burning questions.
For patrons not in the U.S., you have the option of paying pounds or euros, saving you the cost of the conversion fee. Annual memberships for all tiers are also now available, and those that select this option will be rewarded with a free month of membership.
For more details on all of this and specific member tiers, visit Sinisterhood.com and click Patreon on the top banner. And make sure you stick around after our sign-offs to hear your shout-out.
So many of you have been tagging us in pictures of you sporting your sweet Sinisterhood merch. Keep those pictures coming. And if you want to get some cool Sinisterhood swag, like t-shirts, mugs, totes, and even clothes for your kiddos, or a nice cozy hoodie for yourself as we head into fall, visit Sinisterhood.com and click shop on the top banner.
The best thing you can do to help us grow is like, review, and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. And please tell a friend who you think would like us to check us out. You can also share any episode by clicking the 3 dots in the top right corner and share topic-based playlists from Spotify by visiting Sinisterhood.com/playlist. All of this means so much to us and really helps podcasts like us get more exposure.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SinisterhoodPod, like us on Facebook at Sinisterhood, and follow us on TikTok and YouTube at Sinisterhood Podcast. Christy, where are you at across the World Wide Web?
I am on Instagram at Christy M. Wallace and on TikTok and Twitter at Christy or GTFO. Heather?
I'm making the tweets at MCK versus the world, and I'm on TikTok and Instagram playing my sweet recorder at Heather versus the world.
As always, the devil rules the airwaves.
Keep it creepy. Hey everybody, thank you so much for supporting the show on Patreon. Here are your special Patreon shoutouts. Caitlin Booth,
Bonnie K. Banks,
Morgan Phillips,
ML in Calgary,
Niazia,
Helen Watson,
Lenny B,
Jennifer Kiesling,
Holly Brennan,
Jade Stinchcomb,
Tori Treglone,
Jexis Ortiz Valenzuela,
Gremlin Girl,
Sandy Bowers,
Sunny Arujo,
Celeste Ramirez,
Sarah Speed,
Livy Davidson,
Bree Jennings,
Joni McKern,
Lindsay,
Elizabeth Jenkins,
Peyton Turner,
Taylor Tidler,
Jamila Syed,
Alyssa Darga,
Justine,
Taylor Farnsworth,
Susan Chamberlain Dawes,
Charlotte Castillo,
Janelle Ackerman,
Olivia McCarthy,
and Laurel.
Thank you so much for supporting the show. We could not do this without you. We hope we pronounce your names correctly. We love you. We appreciate you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep it creepy.
Wah.
Sinister.